pull up a chair. This is Off the Back Porch. Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer is brought to you in part by Country Village Sporting Goods. Everything you need to get in the woods, the water, or to the camp is at Country Village Sporting Goods. Jason Hardy State Farm. Like a good neighbor, Jason Hardy at State Farm is there. And Larry's Pizza in El Dorado, home of the Double Pizza Parade.
20 plus years of bringing you the most important and latest information with local happenings, news, sports, opinions, and probably an attempt at humor. Also brought to you in part by Davis Farms Country Market. For farm to table fresh, it's Davis Farms Country Market. Cook's Body Shop. Chances are it will happen. And when it does, look to Cook's. Murphy Arts District. For the latest information on concerts and events, go to eldomad.com.
Recorded live from Main Street Pizza in historic, beautiful downtown El Dorado, Arkansas. With a history of being the voices you trust. This is Off the Back Porch with Boomer and Sandy. Or Sandy and Boomer. Or two old guys you've known for a long time, whatever. And now your hosts, Troy, Boomer, Barrios, and B.A. Sandy Sanford.
Hey, and welcome for another edition of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer. And here we are at our favorite place, Boomer, and that's Main Street Pizza. What are you looking at?
You see my legs down here.
Oh, okay. Well, I can adjust that out in editing.
Can I just put this like that?
Yeah, you can. Do you want to move? Do you want me to move over a little bit?
No, I'm fine. No, that's fine. I've always asked you to see if we could kind of catty corner it, but you want to be the center over here. I mean, you're the main guy, so.
Well,
I say that because I mean it, right?
I do. I know you say that because you mean it.
So, I'm just kidding. Not really.
Sorry, not sorry.
You're not sorry, not sorry.
Boomer, you and I, we have both been living a number of years. Obviously, you way more than me, without our dads.
Yeah,
which sucks because
it does, yeah.
Because Buddy Sanford was truly my best friend. I mean, outside of my wife, my dad truly was my best friend.
Yeah.
And there was never a question. He had my back.
Yeah.
And we were just tight. Now,
Yeah.
we grew up together.
Yeah.
He was 18 when I was born.
Yeah.
And he was a single dad by the time he was 22.
Yeah.
And he raised me himself. And so, yeah, we grew up together.
Yeah.
And did he make plenty of mistakes? You better believe he did.
Well, he was
a
22.
kid. He was a kid. That's right. But my daddy always had these little sayings or bits of wisdom.
Buddyisms.
Yeah, buddyisms. That's what I call them. Mm-hmm. Your dad have some of those? I mean,
yeah.
What are some of the ones your dad?
Never quit a job until you have another one.
Yeah, that's good advice.
The answer always can't be yes.
Very true.
Daddy, why? Just know why. Just sometimes it's no.
Yep.
And nothing ever happens good after 11 o'clock.
And there's not, I haven't heard anything untrue in any of that yet. So,
yes, nothing good happens after 11 o'clock.
One of my dad's,
one of your dads, you had more than one dad?
One of my dad's sayings that
I'm sorry.
I at least remember more than any other, he would say, the things you touch the most never go cheap. The things that you rely on and touch the most, don't try to find a cheaper one.
Yeah.
And what he meant was mattresses,
yeah,
toilet paper,
yeah,
socks, and shoes.
Okay.
He said you should never go cheap on those things because you touch them more than you touch anything else.
Okay.
And, there's a lot of truth in that.
Yeah.
I had earlier in life as a young adult when you couldn't afford a really, really good mattress, you just got whatever they had on sale and you paid for it, in ways that wasn't monetarily.
I think that now that hotel chains have figured that out.
Yes.
Used to, they'd spend a lot of money on the lobby and all that. You remember before our day, lobbies were a big thing at at hotels. And you'd go in and be a sorry mattress to, it hurt your back or so hard.
Yeah.
But now you go to any of them and they have plush mattresses and good toppers and all that stuff. So they figured that out
Yeah, because again, if I have a choice of where to stay, I'm not going to go to the place that feels like I'm laying on plywood.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
anyway.
But speaking of have you ever been fitted for tennis shoes? And I mean like
No.
I mean like really fitted where they look at your walk, they inspect your gait.
Yeah.
Have you put your hands between your knees and do knee bends, see if
Okay.
your knees get closer together or wider
Okay,
apart?
no. There's a place in Little Rock that does that, I see.
Check your arch, and then they check to see if you pronate or supinate when you're just standing. In other words, do you wear out the outside of your heel or the inside of your heel? Supinate or pronate? Yeah. And I actually had that done, and let me tell you, made all the difference in the world.
Does it?
I mean, 100%. Made all the difference in the world. Which is funny because I hear people, they'll complain, oh man, my feet hurt all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
And I look down and they're wearing $30 tennis shoes.
Yeah. So, yeah. Go figure, huh?
You know, I mean, I'm not saying everybody has to have a $280 pair of shoes, but you know, them $30 ones aren't doing it.
Yeah. Well, that's the same thing about, you know, if you can't afford $280 shoes or a fitting, don't ever do it. You know, it's same like a guitar. If you can't afford a $5,000 guitar, don't ever play one.
Right.
Because believe me, it plays and sounds much better
Yes.
than that Alvarez, that $375, $200 one that you can get, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So same thing, I guess.
Yeah, I was when Boomer was the music minister at his church. I went over to his office one time, and he had like 8 guitars in there. And I picked up one. Man, it just fretted so easy, and I could just move up and down the neck, you know. And mine felt like you needed a capo on every string to hold it
you
down.
need to do hand presses to fret it.
His was just, man, ding, 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 just so smooth. And I was like, man, I want to buy that one. And he's like,
No, you don't.
He's like, first of all, that's not mine.
Yeah.
And he said, and secondly, you don't have a second mortgage because that's what it'd take to buy that guitar.
That was a $10,000. I remember that. That was a $10,000, and it wasn't mine, by the way.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right. Have you ever been fitted for golf clubs?
I did. I got fitted for clubs when I first moved here to Arkansas, and I hit those for a while, and actually my game improved. You know, when you're at dead last, it's easy to improve.
It's easy to come up.
And I went when Alan Brooker was there. I went and got fitted again for some clubs. And bought another set. So 2 times I was fitted for clubs.
I've been fitted twice. The first time was with Bart Craig when he was the pro over at the country club. And man, I mean, it was 7-8 strokes.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
You know, just being fitted properly.
Yeah.
With the right uprightness of the club and all that. And then when Jim Davis had golfing games over here on the square, I went and he fitted me for a pair or a set. And that's still the set I use today. TaylorMade Burner 2.0s. Love those things.
Perimeter weighted and all that.
Man, they just I don't know what all they are.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not that smart, but
Yes,
I
you are.
love them. I love those things.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm just saying is that, you know, our dads had these sayings, and the older I get, the more I see there's a lot of truth.
Smarter your dad
Yeah,
gets.
boy, he sure is a lot smarter than I remember him being.
So I guess you know the ones that our dad said. But yeah, it's pretty exhaustive set of things that were to say. There's probably nothing else there. There's nothing else you could come up with. Probably that.
Oh, but you would be wrong.
So you do have a.
Yes, I do have. I have other sayings that my dad had that probably weren't as constructive.
Just call me Ed McMahon.
These sayings that my dad had were probably not as constructive as those others.
Oh yeah.
If you want sympathy, look in the dictionary between and syphilis.
Sandy.
That I didn't say it. Buddy said it, and he used to tell me that a lot when I was a kid.
I go to church and teach Sunday school.
Well, I can bleep it out. Another one of his was, "Life is tough, son. It's even worse if you're stupid."
Yeah. Yeah.
That was one. You eat what's on the table, or you
Oh,
go
you
to
don't
bed
eat it
hungry.
all. Yeah. Go. Yeah.
Either way, it's up to you.
Yeah. Problem was my mother loved liver and onions, and there's not enough ketchup to put on liver and onions.
So the only time in my life I can ever remember getting up from the table and saying,
not going to do
not
it.
going to do it, it was liver and onions.
Yeah, Mama would cook it once a week because she loved it so much.
Yeah. I was like, no, I'm not. I will just be hungry.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, you cut off an appendage? Go get the Campho-Phenique.
Yeah. Rub a little dirt on it.
Campho-Phenique was evidently a miracle worker.
Yeah, and at Mother's house, it was Campho-Phenique, Vic Salve, and Dr. Tishner's.
Yes.
Now, a Southern Mother, She, especially Louisiana Southern mother, was going to use I mean, if you had broken bones, they just gauze it up and pour little Dr. Tishner's on it.
Well, if not, you could always
Drink
just take a shot of that Dr. Tishner. You'd forget all your problems.
Yeah. Hey, my son-in-law is one of my son-in-laws is a Missouri boy, and they were visiting one Thanksgiving couple of years ago, or maybe late. It doesn't matter. And they were staying upstairs, and he was using my bathroom. He says, here's some Dr. Tishner's. He said, I've always heard Pops talk about this. He said, I'm just going to, use it, take a little bit and use a mouthwash. He says, oh, my God. He said, couldn't get it out of my mouth fast enough. I said, brother, you got to work up to the full strength.
That's unleaded.
I said, that's
90 octane.
That's 1 to 32 for mouthwash.
Yes.
he said, I'll never use it again. He said, it cauterized the inside of my mouth.
So my grandfather, who was a teetotaler, did not...
Yeah.
Or so he said.
Yeah.
I think sometimes him and his brother, they'd get off together and
ride down the road.
I think sometimes some old muscadine juice might get broke out. Some old Mayhaw juice or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, he did not officially partake. But every night, 9:55, whatever show he was watching went off just before the local news came on at 10.
Yeah.
He would go in there and take his teeth out.
Wash his mouth out.
And he would take that bottle top of that Dr. Tishner's, fill it up,
wash his mouth out, drink it. Yeah.
And he'd come back in the living room, eyes all glazed over, and and you could smell it everywhere.
Yeah.
And so when I was a teenager, I thought,
I'll try that.
I'm gonna try that. That old man can do it. I know I can.
I'm bad.
I am not.
You are not.
I am not bad. I am the opposite of bad in that sense. I put that Dr. Tishner's in there, and I went to gargle, and I couldn't, like your son, I couldn't get it out of my mouth fast enough. That was
Well, Daddy always had a hacking cough his whole life that I remember, and so he would carry a little, and it was glass bottles back then, and right down in his inside of his door of Dr. Tishner's. But he quit doing it. He says, he said, I don't want anybody to think that I'm drinking that. I said, well, Daddy, kind of are. No, I'm not. I said, I'm just touching it to my tongue, and loosen up that phlegm. I said, okay. He said, well, I'm gonna quit carrying it in my car. So he quit because he didn't want anybody to think that he was drinking Dr. Tishner's by just seeing it in his car. So.
How about this one? Keep on and you're going to get hurt. And if I have to take you to the emergency room, there will be no Christmas this year. That was another one my dad saying. You want to have Christmas or you want to go to the ER? It's up to you. Yeah, you broke your arm. Okay, what are they going to do?
What are they going to do? Put a cast on it?
They're going to put a cast on it.
Yeah. Oh, we can
go over there and get 2 of those cut off pieces we have from that crown molding, wrap it around and tape it up.
We'll be all right. Get some duct tape on.
By the end of the weekend, you should be fine.
Yeah. Or I'll give you. If you want to cry, I'll give you something to cry about.
That's right.
That's every day. Every mom or daddy, especially daddies.
Another one, sunburn. Well, go get the vinegar.
Oh yeah. No.
What made people think that was good?
I don't know. They used to put coal oil on stuff. So
that's true. That's true. Oh, you're bored? Great.
Yeah.
That whole backyard, all them sticks. Go get them. That's an exciting job. You're going to like that. Go do that now.
Oh, you think you need to weight lift? Oh, I'll give you some weights to lift.
Yeah.
So get that wheelbarrow.
Of course, one of my favorites. Why are you in the house? It's still daylight.
Yeah.
So.
You had to be outside.
Oh yeah. There was no, and Daddy was single, and I was a latchkey kid. So during the summer when he worked,
he was by himself.
He better not call that house and me answer the phone.
He's calling just to make sure you was outside.
And there were times where I would be in the house
and not answer
the phone. I'm not answering that phone because I know that's Daddy checking. He expected to see me when the street lights came on, and he expected me to be sweaty and dirty and nasty and go in and get straight in the tub.
I'm going to tell you a good example of latchkey kids. There's still some, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
My next door neighbors. The mama works and the daddy's gone a lot. He's disabled, but he's gone a lot. And the other day, I'm coming in and their high school daughter I see her on the front porch. And I wave at her and we talk for a minute. She's holding her little stray cat that they call their own. And she goes inside and I go to the back of the house and come in and put the dog up. Well, they had delivered their mail to our house. So I said, well, let me just go give this to them real quick. So I went over there and knocked on the door.
She's not answering that door.
She's not answering that door. I said, hey, it's Troy.
That's a good girl. I know who you're talking about, and she's a good girl anyway. But she wouldn't answer that phone.
I just put it in the mailbox. I said, well, I guess
that's a felony.
No, I didn't take it out.
Oh, okay.
I was putting their mail in it.
Didn't think you were allowed to do that either.
I can't do that either.
I don't know.
It's their mailbox.
Yeah,
it's
true.
not out on the street. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry.
Hey, you remember those guys who escaped from the jail in New Orleans?
Yeah.
Back in May?
Yeah, they all stayed in town.
They finally caught the last one this week.
Oh, they did? There was one left, I know.
Yeah, there was one left. I think they caught him today.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, it was today.
Yeah?
They caught him today. The only escaped Louisiana inmate who remained on the run following an audacious May jailbreak in which 10 men crawled through a hole behind a toilet seat has been found in Atlanta, Georgia by U.S. Marshals. Derek Groves was taken into custody in a house after evading authorities for nearly 5 months. Deputy U.S. Marshal Brian Fair confirmed, and then Sergeant Kate Stegall, spokesperson for Louisiana State Police, also confirmed. Groves, 28, had been convicted of murder and was facing a possible life sentence before the jailbreak. He had the most violent criminal record of the escapees, and authorities had offered a $50,000 reward for tips that led to his recapture. And evidently they got a tip.
Oh, yeah?
They found him in a crawl space of an empty home.
I'll be.
They had to know he was there because otherwise you don't go to this empty house and get in the crawl space and find the guy.
Yeah, someone ratted on him.
Someone ratted on him. Someone going, now you need to do is see who comes up with a new car. And that's how you know. Where your mama get that new car money.
Hey, we've been saving.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she got a disability.
Either that, she blessed.
Yeah, she blessed. Yeah.
Yeah. And, supposedly they got out because there was one guard.
Yeah.
And he left to go get food.
Yes.
Well, he left for food. They left for freedom.
Yeah.
But
a bunch of them stayed in town.
That's I don't get. I don't understand.
I mean, if you can't get out of town, then walk. Go somewhere. Get out of Metro New Orleans.
Yeah, don't be on Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
And that's one of them they caught on Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
Down on Rue Marouge or something. I mean, it was right there. I mean, just come on, guys. You got to do.
At least go to the Garden District or something.
Something, yeah. I can tell you this. If I had to break out of jail, y'all going to have a hard time finding me. I'm getting into the woods, okay? I grew up in the woods. I can survive.
Can you? You know which side the moss grows on and all that?
Yeah. That part doesn't matter. That's only if you're trying to travel. You need to know which side it grows on. But I'm going to get out there and stay.
Oh, you're going to stay?
I'm not going anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to get out there and stay.
Yeah, but you're going to build a fire, though. They can see that.
Yeah, well, there's ways around that, too.
Can you?
Yeah.
No smoke flame?
You can build a fire that has very little smoke.
Okay.
Yeah, if you do it right.
You got to dig a hole in the ground, a cushion?
Well, I mean, you got to have a little air vent dug over here. Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah, but you can do that. So, speaking of jail escapes,
yeah.
Marietta, Georgia. Authorities say 34-year-old Trevor T-Bone Langston.
Oh, T-Bone.
Briefly tasted freedom Tuesday night after escaping the Jackson County Jail using nothing but a spoonful of peanut butter and his God-given charisma. According to sheriff's deputies, Langston, who was serving time for stealing catalytic converters, managed to convince a rookie guard that he was a maintenance worker and was there to approve the roof leak that had been fixed.
And what was that, putty on the spoon? Or what?
No. The guard had only been on the job 3 days, opened the door after Langston distracted him with a jar of peanut butter, had an extra spoon, and they were sharing spoonfuls of peanut butter and talking about football.
Yeah.
The guard said he was on the leak list. I didn't even know we had a leak list. Langston then casually walked out through the service hallway, exited the back gate, waving at the camera as he went by, and disappeared into the woods. His freedom lasted a whopping 47 minutes.
Wow.
Deputies found him 2 miles away at a gas station. He told us he didn't plan to run far, the sheriff said. Just wanted to see if the Braves were still in the playoffs and to get a Dr. Pepper.
He doesn't have much ambition in life, does he?
When asked why he chose peanut butter, Langston said, "Man, everybody likes peanut butter. It builds trust."
It did.
He now faces additional charges, including escape and bribery, because he bribed him
peanut butter.
With peanut butter.
Oh, my word.
So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we have more of Off the Back Porch coming up right after this.
Bad things happen, and of course, they never happen at the right time. Maybe it's just a little bump and cosmetic damage, or it's turned into a huge insurance claim, and you just don't know where to go next. That's why so many of your neighbors and friends call on Cook's Body Shop in El Dorado. From the minor to the major, Cook's Body Shop is in your corner. Need someone to help you deal with insurance? Look to Cook's. Need advice on what to do next? Look to Cook's. Need a free estimate? Look to Cook's. Bad things are going to happen, and when they do, look to Cook's.
Buying this boat was a total no-brainer.
Okay, I get it. You say no-brainer and the guy with no brain shows up.
I'm sorry, we met our new boat.
For a new boat? You don't call me. You call State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is...
There?
I was gonna say that.
He's right. Your State Farm agent can help you choose the right coverage for your new boat and your RV. It's kind of a no-brainer. Easy decision.
All right.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, and welcome back for more of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer. I'm Boomer, and that's Sandy.
You know, that's not going to work forever.
It's not forever, but right now it's still working. I'm still able to go in places and charge things telling people I'm Boomer.
Yeah. Well, I'm still
And they
having
still
to pay.
send you the bill.
I'm still having to pay. And Martha's getting dang tired of that.
She hadn't said a word to me about it.
I know she's been saying it to me. She says, sooner or later, you and Sandy are going to have to quit trading off or something.
Yeah, well, if you'd have brought her them apples that time.
It all boils down to apples. Yep, you're right.
Boomer, we once again have someone who's willing to put their entire reputation on the line.
And a well-known person from the area.
Yeah, and he shouldn't do it.
And he knows a lot of people.
And he shouldn't do it, but he did anyway.
And he depends on a lot of people for his living.
That's right. So
I was advised against it. I'll be honest.
Were you really?
I'm sure. Yeah, probably several times.
Yeah.
So, but welcome to the show.
Been talking to Buddy Hall again.
Yeah, Jason Hardy from Jason Hardy State Farm Insurance. And Jason, thanks for coming on the show with us.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate the invitation.
The thing about the apples, one time, Boomer's wife, she'd called and said, she'd said, "Hey, pick me up some apples
Before y'all go out of town.
because we were leaving to go to a ball game or something." We're driving along, and my phone rings, and it's his wife, and she's like, "You got that Boomer in there with you?" I was like, "Yes, ma'am, he can hear you." And she said, "These apples sure are good." And he's like, "How are those apples good? They're in the back
They're in
seat."
the back seat.
And she's like, I know.
I know.
And she said, "Sandy, did I ask to not work and stay home? No. Did I ask for a house on Silk Stocking Lane? No. All I asked for was some apples, and I got nary damn apple."
And it's 20 years later, and we're still hearing about apples.
Still hearing about
Well,
them
Miss
apples.
Martha's just not that hard to please, is she?
Exactly. I mean, present company.
Proof right there.
Proof. Yeah. No, I married way up. I did.
Yeah, you did.
I'm batting out of my class or range.
Outkicked your coverage.
Whatever.
Whatever you say. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that from experience because I've obviously done the same thing. I mean, look at her, look at my wife,
you.
and then look at me.
Yeah.
And if I catch any of y'all trying to pray for her eyesight, we're going to fight. It's going to be a fist fight. I'm just telling you. Actually, we had a preacher come to our church one time, and he was talking to our associate pastor at the time was Mark Day. And I don't know if you know Mark, but Mark's wife Laura is one of the most beautiful women you'll ever meet in your life. I mean, she's not just beautiful on the outside; she is that same beauty on the inside. She's a fabulous lady. And he walked over to me and said, "Brother, listen to me. If you ever catch anybody praying for her eyesight," he said, "let me know. I'll hold them down while you beat them."
And so you've stole that line ever
I have.
since.
I've used that ever since. That's right. So, well, Jason, again, thanks for coming on the show with us. And, full transparency here. I am a customer of Jason's. And I say that because I came to him a few years ago and I said, "Hey, I've got this claim. It's 2 years later, and we're just now wrapping it up." And I said, "But as soon as I'm done with that, I need to make a change." And he's like, "Man, just let me know." Which I'm thinking he's probably heard that a dozen times a week.
Yeah, you hear that, I guess.
Yeah,
Hey, man, I'm going to get my information to you, and we're going to get some quotes,
But I'll say this, and I know this isn't the case with everyone. It was half. More coverage was half of what I was paying with the other company. Half.
That's a no-brainer.
I was paying $770 a month, and it was $402 when I switched over. For a house, couple of vehicles, boat, and storage building or something. I don't remember what I was on my policy. But I did call him and I said, hey, I just realized something. He said, what's that? I said, I just paid $8,000 for a lawnmower. Do I need to put that on my?
Might help.
And he said, as long as it never leaves your yard, no.
Yeah.
He said it's covered under your homeowners. But the first time you cut the church's grass, or someone's auntie or someone's grandma, and I was like, oh well, I'm on my way to somebody's grandma's house right now.
You can't put it on the trailer. And
he said, then you're going to need to insure that. I was like, yeah, what's that going to run me? And he said, hang on, let me look. He was like, $12 a year or something. It was nothing. I was like, yeah, go ahead and kick that on
I've got insurance from a four-wheeler, and it's a 2009 four-wheeler, and it's $100 a year. I mean, $12 a month.
Yeah.
But I still keep it. I'm just, I'm not going to give that up.
Well,
for nothing.
I remember you had a go-kart come up missing.
Yeah. Out from underneath my camp, I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Some crackhead from down the street had it.
So he had this cool little go-kart, and I had a picture of him forever.
Your kids were riding it, weren't they? Didn't your kids
my
come
kids
over?
did ride it, but I had a picture of him doing a donut in it. And
Don't forget you're talking to your insurance agent. They just told
no, this was 20 years ago.
I would every now and then I'd whip that picture out and show it to him. I was like, I could post that,
True.
It was not a flattering photo. But then one day I went down to his camp. I was like, where's your go-kart? He said, good question.
Yeah.
I'd like to know too.
We found it down the North Road down in Felsenthal. I guess like any thief, when it runs out of gas, they through with it.
They're just done. Yeah.
Still had all the parts and everything.
Yeah, I mean, it was there.
Okay.
We just picked it up and brought it home.
Well, there you go.
Man, that's, it takes all kinds. It takes all kinds. But Jason, also, I got an email from his office one day, and it was like, hey, there's been some changes in insurance, and so you either need to accept or decline this coverage, and it was earthquake coverage. And I remember someone in my house said, earthquake coverage. I was like, hold on a minute. And I called down to his office, and I spoke to the young lady. I said, how much is this earthquake coverage? It's like $6 a month. I was like, put it on there. We're on the New Mandarin Fault, okay? Name me a home in El Dorado that doesn't have a crack in the foundation, okay? Yeah. So with that being the case, $6 a month, put me down for that earthquake coverage.
You have to say no.
You do, right?
Yeah,
because of the fault line that exists in the state, we have to offer that, and if you don't want it, you have to sign a form
have
that
to
says
say
no.
no.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
I don't know about State Farm, but home insurance has gone through the roof.
It's a hard market.
It is.
It is everywhere, and State Farm included.
Yeah,
it is a hard market. It
is what it is.
It is, and it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
Because
it's hard to explain to that guy that built a house in 1980 for $100,000, and now to get full coverage on his house, it's $425, and he says, "Why? I don't want to pay for it on $425."
Right. And his next argument is, if I could sell it for that, I'd sell it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you've got that the difference between the market value of a home compared to the construction cost.
Yeah.
And from an insurance perspective, we have to insure it based
for
on
construction cost. Yeah.
Because if it burns down, we got to be able to rebuild it. It's not just a market issue. So it is. It's difficult to explain and difficult to even being in the business. Difficult to always understand why the market is what it is right now. But it is a hard market at this moment.
Well, that brings me to one of the reasons I wanted to ask you to be here, and that is, let's talk a little bit about homeowners insurance. Those days of people with $50 deductibles, those don't exist anymore, unless they're grandfathered in, right?
Yeah, well, no, they've actually even gotten to the point where when they start renewing, those have gone away.
They'll make your deductible different.
Right. Yeah, there are still some $1,000 deductibles out there, but even that's starting to disappear.
I better check my policy because mine was $500.
Yeah, it's probably more like
probably
like half a percent or 1% of your dwelling limit now. Yeah. It's all being changed to percentage based, and then you probably have a separate wind and hail deductible on top of it. It has become that's part of that hard market. Companies are looking for creative ways to
not pay.
Well, no, it's not about not paying, but it is trying to control.
Having more, it's trying to control so that you have more skin in the game.
Yeah. You're trying to control that rate some.
Sure.
And it's hard, but you definitely want to review those deductibles because they most likely have changed.
Was there something about COVID that changed the prices? Was it Was it the hurricanes that we had that were?
I think it's just a combination of a lot of different things. We had, a few years back when inflation really got bad, which was when we started coming out of the pandemic.
Yes.
Inflation kind of got bad.
It was. Yeah.
And I think most insurance companies overreacted a little bit to that.
Yeah.
Because of the cost, you've got labor costs, you've got materials costs, all the costs were going way, way up. So that's going to create a situation where insurance companies are paying more on claims. So not only do you have the frequency of claims picking back up as we're coming out of the pandemic, because we had the pandemic, actually we saw rates decrease a good bit because
there were fewer claims.
Right.
There were less people driving.
So then we start coming back out of the pandemic. Well, then your frequency of claims picks back up. Well, then not only does the frequency pick back up, but the severity increases because of the cost increases.
Sure.
And then you just got a myriad of things like, you got the wildfires out in California, you got the hurricanes, tornadoes. Arkansas specifically, we've had, and this doesn't make the news like wildfires do, but you get tornadoes and hail.
Yeah.
And here recently, throughout the state, Arkansas has gotten hammered with tornadoes and hail. And you don't hear about that. The wildfires make the news. Hurricanes make the news. Tornadoes and hail really don't.
Not really.
Not the ones that hail
just to fly really over as they show you a trailer park where it used to be.
Yeah. And so
those tornadoes look for trailer parks.
They do.
No doubt. But that's just what happened, and it's just all kind of come together at the wrong time. It's just bad timing.
Well, it's no secret that I'm in the insurance business.
Sure,
too.
I
sold out to United years ago, but there are some independent. When I was independent, there were some companies that pulled out all the way out of Arkansas.
That has happened again recently with some other companies that have left the state on the fire side of
on
things.
the fire side.
Right.
And also, Louisiana is subsidizing insurance companies to stay in Louisiana because of the the amount of.
Otherwise, they'd lost them. Yeah.
Those companies didn't want to insure anymore.
I think Farm Bureau and State Farm are both in that category.
Well, you've got coastal issues.
Sure.
With Louisiana. You get down there on the coast, and then you've got the hurricane exposure, and of course with that just comes so many more. Risks. So
what some people don't understand is that State Farm's market share is such that y'all are spread out enough. Some little company that may be from Conway, that got bought out by another larger company. When something happened in Little Rock or in Pulaski County, they got hammered.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's what happens to those. And those insurance companies have their own insurance to cover stuff like that, and it's become. And there was a lot of them that I wrote that were very, we followed the trend and they did real well. But boy, when roofs were 20,000 to replace instead of 10, if things changed.
Well, supply chain issues were I remember in 2021, I said it as a joke, but he said, I just realized I'm a millionaire. I got 3 dozen eggs and 6 2x4s in my backyard.
But was it a commodity that was?
It was, but supply chain issues, of course, like you said, it made the severity of the claim that much worse. And what do you recommend for your customers when they're, okay, by gosh, I'm paying too much? How do you recommend they shop?
Man, it's hard. The first thing I always tell somebody when they do that is, hey, come in, let's take a look at what you've got first. And so, we look at their coverage. Does it make sense? We look at their deductibles. Does they make sense? And then from there, once we've done that review, if they're still dead set on shopping, what I suggest is make sure you're shopping with a reputable company.
And it's apples to apples. Yeah.
Right. Well, I don't use Apple. I know a lot of people say that, but my theory is we're an orange.
Yeah. Oh, no, I got you. No, I got you. Well, y'all are,
but comparable. Yeah. Make sure you're comparing.
No, that's exactly right. Yeah. Make sure you're not. Make sure you're not getting a quote that is based on half of the coverage that you have now, or with double the deductible that you have now, or whatever that may be.
Or no wind and hail or whatever.
Right. I just ask people to be open with me and have a conversation. If you get a quote from somebody else that is beating us a lot, bring it to me and let me look.
Me too. That's what you want to do.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'll look at mine. I'll look at yours, and at the end of the day, if you've got a better deal, you've got a better deal.
Yeah,
that's just all you can do.
Yeah, you can't argue with price. But and the other thing is that I found out, and is this true with State Farm also, is bundling?
Yeah,
does that help y'all to bundle?
It does. I mean, we've changed that. That's kind of changed a little bit too. So far as calling them discounts. That used to be the big, the discount double check and 100%. And so now it's rate adjustments.
Okay.
So the more, and actually it's been more beneficial because we are doing more rate adjustments based on the number of policies. It's not just if you have your home and auto.
Okay.
That is still a big deal. That is probably still the best rate adjustment that we make. But if you have multiple autos, then you get better rate adjustments. If you have multiple fire policies, you get better rate adjustments. So, but is bundling real? Yes, it 100% is. Yes.
Right. Let me ask this. And so when it comes to, so I've shopped and I'm going to go with company A or company B, whomever, and I'm looking at it. The important stuff to look for me, it is my coverage versus state minimums. And because I had an iteration in life for about 8.5 years where I saw people constantly making claims and did not have enough coverage. And then they're pissed. They're mad, and they're like, I've been paying this for all these years, and not understanding that, but you also griped and moaned and complained about it until they dropped you down to state minimums.
Or you got it online.
I'm not going to say any names, but I am not a fan of online. I like to be able to go to Jason's office and say, hey, look me in the face and explain this to me,
Right.
And, but like I said, the things like my exposure versus state minimums, my deductible amounts, and then what I call my ancillary coverage.
Your what?
Ancillary. So like rental. I told Jason, don't ever let rental fall off my policy. Don't ever let it fall off.
I need that.
For as little as that costs me, don't ever let that fall off my policy because we don't have extra vehicles at my house. Yeah, and I have too many drivers in my family, so no one can spare vehicles. But so when you tell them, okay, let's come in, let's look at it, and it, like you said, comparing coverages, making sure that's right. Is it an industry-wide thing that's going on now with homes that they're using a percentage of the home's value as a deductible?
That is the trend. Yes, that is the trend that we've been seeing. Actually, we're probably one of the last companies to change to that. I saw it. I saw more companies doing that actually before we changed to that. So that is more of a trend and using that percentage, especially on the wind and hail. That's always been a percentage that companies have used. So that's something that we're trending to. Now we can still do flat dollar amounts, but they're not $500 anymore. Those are
again, the insurance company wants you to have skin in the game.
Yeah.
I mean again, I am amazed at the number of people I have witnessed over the years who will beat their car up when a hailstorm comes through.
Your hail dents look like golf balls.
Exactly. My absolute favorite, was a guy came to me and he said, man, I got some hail damage on my car. I said, all right. So I walk out there and I was like, brother, that's not hail damage. That's that yellow pole at Sonic is what that is. No. See, the hail knocked the paint off, and that's the primer. I said, so it has yellow primer. I said, first of all, hail don't break paint. Y'all need to know that, by the way. Hail does not break paint. Okay, repairing hail damage can break the paint, but hail does not break paint. And secondly, I can promise you they didn't use yellow primer. And so I just reached over there and went flick, and this little piece of yellow paint. And I looked at him and said, listen, this may be your first claim, but it's not State Farm's. And I think I'd almost rather go through an IRS audit than an insurance investigation. He's like, for real? I said, for real. And he's like, okay, thanks.
Because those guys
are for real.
I was just waiting for somebody.
My dad was an adjuster for years and years and years. Troy, I'm sure you knew him and talked to him plenty of times. And he would look at, and it was always hail. I don't know why that brings out the worst in some people. I don't know why that does, but he would look at a roof or a car and tell somebody, say, you need to call the police. Why would I need to call the police? Well, you need to file a vandalism report. Somebody's beat that thing with a hammer.
A ball peen hammer.
And I'm telling you, I saw it. So some of the clues are when they're all in a line.
Yeah.
And they're all the same size.
Yeah.
Another secret about hail: 90% of the time, one side of your car is not going to be damaged at all.
Yeah.
Because that hail comes in sideways.
Wind blown, yeah.
So when you have equal amounts of damage on both sides, that's a red flag.
Well, they was driving and it turned around.
And it turned around. Yeah.
Had to go back.
And listen,
I thought I could make it, but I couldn't.
That's a very real thing. I mean, we got caught. We had just, like 2 weeks prior to that, changed over to Jason's office. We're driving through Fayetteville, and with a previous vehicle, and it gets hammered by hail. I mean, just hammered. And I said, "What are we going to do?" I said, "Nothing." I said, "You don't change insurance and file a claim 2 weeks later." I said, "That's a quick way to be able to be without insurance." Okay. I said, I said, "That hail ain't going to hurt anything." I said, "That vehicle's black. First time it heats up, it'll pop a lot of those out.
Right back out." Yeah. That's a smart move.
But, I have been on the phone with State Farm before, and they're like, "Okay, give me this customer's zip code." And I'd give it to them, and they'd say, "Oh." And I'm like, "What does O mean?" Because words mean things. You didn't just say "oh" because somebody goosed you, right? What does "oh" mean, Jake?
Yeah.
Said, you're in a high fraud area. And if you want to know why your car insurance is as high as it is, there's a pretty good indication when you have a high fraud alert in your zip code.
Let me tell you what else they know. They watch the weather.
Yes.
They know what hit where and when it hit.
Yes.
The National Weather Service will tell you all that information.
Yeah. They say, so when did this happen? Sunday.
April the 3rd? No, there was no hail in your area.
There was no hail in your area then. I don't know. You better find them kids in the neighborhood who threw rocks at it. But,
So fraud is a big thing in insurance.
It is.
But just know, and we're trying to do this as a public service to our watchers and listeners. So your sins will find you out. I mean, you may get by with it, but you won't feel good about yourself. And you most likely won't get by with it.
You most likely won't. Mm-hmm. And I had a customer one time. She called me and said, "Hey, I've just filed a claim with State Farm, and somebody's vandalized my vehicle." Mm-hmm. Okay. And I'm like, "Yep, sure enough, I see it. It just popped up on my screen." I'm like, 81 Monte Carlo. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, it had to be a really nice Monte Carlo for you to notice vandalism on it. But she said, "Yep, somebody stole the radio out of it. They ripped a bunch of wires out of the dash, and they broke my power steering." Okay. Is it drivable? No. So we send a tow truck to go get it. They bring it back. We get it up on the rack, and our production foreman calls me and says, "You need to come look at this." I say, "Okay." I go over there. There was power steering fluid this thick across that front I-beam of that old school body frame. I mean, it was that thick. And he's like, "No one vandalized this." He said, "That's been leaking for years." So I do what I always do, and I take pictures. I'm not the judge, right? I take pictures. I send them to State Farm and said, "Y'all might want to look at this." And they called me and said, "Don't touch it. Just leave it right where it's at." We did. A couple days later, these guys show up, and they're flashing badges. And they said, "We're here to come look at that Monte Carlo." I was like, "Sure." So I'm walking them over there, and I said, "So what branch of the military did you retire from?" He said, "Is it that obvious?" And I was like, Yes, it is.
It is very obvious.
And he said, "I was an airborne Army Ranger." And he said, "And then I was a Texas Ranger for 20 years. And I retired from that and went to work for State Farm." I was like, "Oh." I said, "Do you miss carrying them dual pearl-handled 45s?" He said, "I do. I do miss it." The other guy, I said, "And what branch of the military were you in?" He said, "Makes you think I was in the military." I said, "Dude, the walk. I mean, you got..." His neck does not move when he walked, And he said, "I was a Green Beret for 20 years. See, then I spent 20 years with the Texas Department of Public Safety as a trooper." And these are the guys who are investigating insurance fraud. Mm-hmm. So I take them over to the vehicle. I leave them there. I go back to my office. A little bit later, the first guy pokes his head in there. He said, "Hey, where is town?" And it was here in the county. He said, "Where is that?" And I said, "It's about 15 miles away." And they said, "Okay, we're going to go visit with this customer. She's going to have one chance to change her story, or she's going to have a really bad day." About 45 minutes later, I get a call from ACC, State Farm Auto Claims, and they said, "She's withdrawing her claim. Now, we know you have an expense in going and picking that vehicle up, and you'll have an expense to take it back to her. We'll pay for that, but that's all we're paying for. And I was like,
Okay.
yes, ma'am. And we sent it right back.
Yeah.
To this day, I don't know what else happened, but
Well,
it didn't take 45 minutes for her to decide that wasn't a claim she wanted to make after all.
and that's what, it's not so much each one, but it's the, the all of them together, and that's why all of them do that. They have,
There's always that chance.
Yeah.
And those SIU guys that you're talking about, and it's not just State Farm. It's
It's
every
all of them.
insurance
It's
company
all
that has a
of them.
special
It-
investigation.
it's all
unit.
of them. You're right.
They are that type. That's what
they love to
attracts.
investigate and
That's
love
right.
to catch people in. Yeah, if you like that kind of
Yes.
catch people in the wrong type of personality, that's what they do.
Yeah.
Years ago, Keith Jackson, when he had an insurance agency here in town, he told me, he said there was a guy who worked for Allstate that would come around. He said he would always bring them here to my office to interview them. And he said, Sandy, I can tell you 100% of the time when he brought them in, it ended up with you hearing them crying. They were crying from the other room. He said, because if he took the time to come down
And bring 'em in.
and then bring them in, he already knew everything he needed to know.
Yeah,
You know?
he knew the answers.
Yes, and said it always ended with them crying, and I was like, "Man, that's tough." That's tough. But yeah, those guys they're investigators. They're very well trained, and I probably wouldn't want to have to go through one of those.
Yeah, that's
And,
not, I wouldn't either. So
You know,
just don't do it.
my thing is when I have a claim, I have a hard enough time just getting what I think's fair.
Yeah.
I don't want anything that's not owed to me. But you and I both know, and I had this discussion with an Allstate adjuster one day. I said, you and I both know I can't replace that floor for $2.12 a square foot. You and I both know that. Well, that's what a supplement's for. I said, let's not even get that far yet. Let's go ahead and start with what this floor costs. And he still didn't.
Again, my dad was an adjuster for years and years and years, and he had it was this old cartoon. It wasn't like on a plaque or anything, but the saying was, arguing with an insurance adjuster is like wrestling in the mud with a pig. Sooner or later, you realize the pig likes it.
That's exactly right.
So the adjusters like it. They do. I mean, that's not a knock on it. I was an adjuster.
Yeah.
And again, that's taking it too far. That's giving adjusters a bad name. They're trying to do what's right. They are, and I know plenty of really good, fair adjusters, but it's just always a hard deal. Every time you deal with somebody, they're having a bad day. They've had an accident or they've had damage to their home, and so they're already in a bad mood. They're not happy. They've had a bad situation, and so that adjuster is stepping into a situation that's not fun. So that turns into it. But I always got a kick out of that saying that my dad
Let's be
had.
honest about insurance adjusters. There's never been one who's got fired for not writing a check. Okay? Never in the history of insurance has somebody said, "Oh, you should be writing more checks, Jason." I bet you never had that conversation, did you?
No, that was never. No, as an adjuster, they never told you that. They wanted the claim closed.
Yes,
but they wanted it done as best you could.
In my experience,
and expeditiously.
My experience, truthfully, for the most part, especially when you're dealing with major brands like State Farm, Shelter, Farm Bureau, they want to give you what's right, but not 1 cent more. Not 1 penny more. And if they can find that cheaper than what you have it quoted for, they expect you to get it at that price. I understand that. It's their job to save money. But there are insurance companies out there, I'll bleep their names out, who they don't care if it's right or not. They believe every vehicle can be fixed for $400. I'm going to bleep it out. No one's ever going to know.
All right.
They believe every car can be fixed for $475 above your deductible.
Yeah.
Every one. You give them the chance. And that's the estimate they're going to write.
Yeah.
You're gonna paint that new fender right on the car. You're not. You don't have. There's no time to take the old one off and put the new one on. Just gonna paint it right there on the car.
Little Bondo
and that's the thing. You talk about severity. Technology has changed so much. There was a time where hammer to fit and paint to match. Man, that's what body shops did. They just got in there and beat that metal around until they got it pliable enough and got it pretty close to the same shape and. They painted it and maybe blend a door to make sure it all looks the same and rock and roll. But you can't do that anymore because
Davis Body Shop could do it. I don't know if you remember Lee Dale Davis. My dad loved Lee Dale Davis. He said, by the time, hey man, I can fix that, and by the time I get it painted, it's going to look fine.
Yeah. He said you could go someplace and put factory parts on this. He said, but I can make it look right.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
We had an expedition that he just.
So you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah, he did it.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question that I have a hard time getting people to understand, and maybe you can shed some light on or teach me something here. When you have a claim or a roof claim, say perhaps on your home, and they write you an initial check, and they say you can make another claim at the end of it.
A supplement, yeah.
Explain that to us.
And that is that most people that haven't ever been through a claim, and even some that have, just not recently, forget that is how that works, especially on roof claims, bigger claims that are you get above $4,000 or $5,000, they're going to handle a claim that way. The first payment that the insurance adjuster is going to make is what's called an ACV payment, actual cash value. Yes. So they're going to have an estimate for the full total replacement. We're just talking about a roof if it warrants it, they're going to write an estimate for the full total replacement of your roof. Then they're going to apply depreciation.
How old your roof is.
Correct, based on the age of your roof.
Yes.
And then they're going to apply the deductible.
Yes.
And then that is the first check that they're going to write.
Right.
Now, if your policy is an ACV policy,
that's the only
check.
That's all you
get.
That's
the last check you're going to get.
Now, actual cash value means just that.
Just that.
Not what it costs to replace the roof.
Correct.
What is the value, the cash value of your roof that's been on there for 15 years?
That's correct.
Or whatever.
But now, if you do have a replacement cost policy, that depreciation that was applied is recoverable once you make the repairs.
Once you
or sign a contract with someone to make the repairs.
Okay.
But once you actually experience that loss, incur that loss of that replacement cost, then that's recoverable.
So what happens is that people say, well, I've got a $2,000 deductible at ACV is another $2,000 off, and it's going to cost $14,000 for this, and I'm only getting $6,000. So now, I'm out $8,000 that I got to come up with. How am I going to get that back? He said, well, we're going to make a supplemental claim at the end, but they say, well, I'm going to have to go borrow the money or sell my car. So that's where it's hard to explain.
Right.
But most reputable roofers, they understand the process and how it works, and they understand as well. Once they hand you that signed contract, once they hand you that signed contract, you can take that right then to your agent, and the process begins of paying you that supplemental.
Correct. And you don't actually have to most of the time, every situation is different. Yeah. But most of the time, you don't actually have to spend that money. If you'll bring in a signed contract showing that you have made a deal with a contractor to replace that roof, you can send that in to request that recoverable amount.
Good.
Yeah.
That's a better way to explain it.
Right. Okay.
Talking about it when you were an adjuster, I have a friend that he has a State Farm agency in Texas, and he told me, he said, dude, when I was an adjuster, he said, if I got called to your house, you hit the lottery. He said, I made sure we paid you for everything. And he said, that was the quickest way to make sure I got my own agency. he said,
don't bring his name up.
No, but he said, I was a little young, and I kept telling them I wanted an agency, and they're like, oh, well,
just wait.
He said, so I just started paying claims, just writing checks that look like, again, life-altering amounts of money, and they're like, yeah, you know what, we have an agency open right over here. Why don't you come over here?
Get that guy promoted.
Get him off the road.
Let me ask you this question, and to me, this is one of the most important things I think that the common insurance client does not consider. But here's what I do. I go out and I find a vehicle. Okay, I'm going to go from, let's just say I'm going to go from this 2012 Ford F-150, and I'm going to get a brand new Dodge Charger. Why the hell is the insurance so high? The insurance is more than the car note, but I think a lot of people don't understand how that works. And shopping for the car is one thing, but you need to find out what that insurance is going to cost as well.
Right. And it's different. Again, it like claims, every situation is different. Every person's situation is different. You you can usually expect for a newer vehicle to have a little bit more rate. Now you're also talking about from a 2012, what was it? The
F-150
to a 2026 Charger.
Yeah.
Well,
those are track ready.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I said a Charger because that's the one. I mean,
It is. Yeah.
Is that your dream car?
No,
It's
no,
gonna be-
I've never a Dodge has ever been in my
It's
dream
going to be
car.
$500, $600, $700, $800 for that insurance.
Yes, and easily. But there are little stats that come out every year. For those of you who are still watching, we haven't bored you to death. There are little stats that come out every year at the end of the year, and some of those are really important, like the most stolen vehicle in a year. There was a time where Nissan Altima had the highest insurance rates of any of them because they went through a period there where every one of them that ever parked was being stolen, and then Nissan fixed some stuff. Because let me tell you, here's the other dirty little secret. You have the National Highway Transportation Safety Department, which is concerned mainly about the safety of that vehicle. But then you have the Auto Insurance Collaborative, where insurance companies and manufacturers work together to keep that price down, that insurance down as much as possible. Because what good does it do to build this wonderful car if you can't sell it because the insurance is twice as much as what the car note would be? And so the vehicles that are stolen the most, stay away from them unless you're willing to pay what that's going to cost. There was a time back when you and I were probably teenagers. Every Mercedes had that little star thing snapped off the front of it.
I was never around Mercedes very much when I was that young. Sandy, that was
at the next neighborhood.
Yeah, that wasn't me.
Yeah, well, I didn't. I just heard about them. I never saw one in person.
Okay, all right.
But people were stealing them and putting them on necklaces.
Okay.
And they would become medallions.
East Texas thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess so.
Okay.
Okay.
Go with that.
But those are the things that all of those things factor in. And, there's a reason that a 5-star crash safety rating is going to get you a better rate. Yeah. Again, if all things are equal, it's going to get you a better rate than something that has a 3.5-star rating.
Sure. Well, folks just need to when you shop in your car, shop your insurance too. Yeah. So that's, yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't think about that.
Yeah, and to me that's a mistake that you can make, because now you've signed an agreement for, good Lord, what are they selling them for now? 84 months? I mean, you're financing.
Definitely have seen people finance for, used to 60 was the max.
But now, gosh. And I remember when they went to 60.
72, 84.
Yeah, you see it.
When they went to 60, I remember my dad was like, who's going to keep a car for 5 years? Daddy never kept one past 2 or 3, but who's going to keep a car for 5 years? I remember the first time he ever financed one for 36 months. He was like, that was the dumbest thing I ever did. It was a sweet 78 Camaro, red and black, beautiful car. But back then, liability insurance wasn't a requirement by law. It wasn't even a requirement.
That I guess came around in the 80s when it actually became a requirement. That's strange to think about it.
There was a time where you did not have to.
You didn't have to have insurance, right? Yeah. That's crazy.
It is crazy because, and Boomer and I would joke about it. There's a guy said, well, back in my days, back in your day, seatbelts were optional.
And dashboards were pointed.
Yes, exactly. But these just the safety features in these vehicles today. I remember as a kid growing up in Houston, we'd drive past it and you'd think, oh man, somebody had an accident. Yeah, 3 people died, and you're like, what? How? It doesn't seem that major. Nowadays, you drive by one and it's just a mangled mess, and everybody walked away, no bruises,
just everything gives,
nothing. And it's all in the design of getting that impact, that shock wave to go around the cabin instead of through it like it used to do.
And don't the engines jump down now rather than jump into?
It all depends on what they. But and you have ultra high strength steel, tensile steel that now can absorb that a whole lot better than. People's like, oh, my bumper, your bumper's cosmetic. Just remember that. That's cosmetic.
Right.
That bumper, I can promise you, anymore. That plastic bumper on the front of your vehicle does nothing. It does absolutely nothing except look pretty and hold your fog lights in place. Maybe your blinkers.
And your backup cameras in the back.
Yes.
And your sensors.
Yeah, and your sensors in the front.
Yes. But all of those things
and they're $3,000 now for a bumper.
Right.
But all of those things combined is what's keeping your insurance from being artificially high. Those sensors on the front, that little radar up there behind that front license plate, that helps you brake when you get too close to a vehicle or something darts out in front of the road and it assists you in braking. Guess what? How many claims have been saved by that? And that backup camera, which I believe now is required on every new vehicle, that backup camera, how many claims has that saved to keep people from backing into stuff? A bunch. And
The work truck that I drive with my dog trainer has lane assist. You know, if you hit the rumble bumps too much, it'll say, "Do you need to pull over and rest?" And it has you know, if you got this crew set on 65 and you come up on somebody that's going 60, it brakes. And it keeps you at a safe distance. So they're getting more dummy proof. But all those things really do help you.
they do.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
And, you know, it like I said, lane assist, blind spot assist.
Yeah.
That's a big one too. You know, you look over in that mirror, you don't see anything, but there's a little yellow triangle telling you there's somebody over there, even though you can't see them. They're over there.
And this truck will go nuts if you pull across a field with tall grass in it. Man, there's sensors going off and pictures coming up on stuff, and I mean, it does everything except arrest you.
And it would take you 10 minutes to turn off all those sensors before you drove through the field. So you don't do that.
Obviously, he's driving a way nicer truck. If it's like,
This is a nice truck that I have.
Would you like to pull over and rest? Because let me tell you, my truck is like, you better pay attention.
Yeah, it's not going to
What's
talk
wrong with
sweet.
you?
It's not going to talk sweet to you.
No, my truck's not. Man, you better wake up. You better stop and get a coffee.
Yeah, you better let me out.
Yeah.
When the truck starts asking to get out, that's you know you're doing something bad.
You're not really driving very well.
In 2022, my oldest son, he said, "Dad, I'm going to take you to a World Series game." How many times in my life am I going to get to go to a World Series game, especially being an Astros fan? Because, listen, I was a fan even when those years they were losing 100 games a year. And so I was like, okay. And he was living in Texas at the time. So I left here one morning like 8:30. Drive down, get in the truck with him in Texas. We go to the Astros game in Houston. Game didn't start till 7. It's over. We drive all the way back to where he lived, which is like 3.5 hours. Matter of fact, I drove all the way back to where he lived because he wanted to sleep. And I'm thinking, well, he's still got to drive to Texarkana, so let him sleep. That's fine. No, he didn't. He stayed there at his grandma's that night. And then I get in my truck and drive the rest of the way back. So I'm pulling into El Dorado about 5 that morning. And man, I know I'm sleepy, but I'm doing okay. I get into my neighborhood. They're at the racket club. And I swear I can see my house. And if I told you whose house I was passing, you're like, yeah, that's 2 houses over from yours. And I guess I just let my guard down long enough. I went, oh, okay, wait a minute. 2 driveways away from my house, and my head just, and it was nothing I could. Even when it was doing, I was like, no. And my head had to always hit my chest before I could wake up. And I was like, so yeah, I can't imagine what my truck would have been screaming at me if driving back, because again, I got road hypnotized a lot coming back. Yeah. And I said, I would never do that again.
Yeah, when you get all the way home and you don't really remember how you got there.
Home. Yeah. Yeah. You don't remember coming through Wesson.
Right. That's a bad trip.
So I'm coming down Champagnon, and then I turn on, what's the street? I turn Smith. And it's a hard right. And I've been on a trip like that, been long gone, and I'm coming down, and there's a driveway right before that street that you turn that hard turn on. Man, I turned up in that dude's driveway. I said, okay, I'm 2 blocks from my house. I said, let me back up, get out of this man's driveway at 4 a.m. and make that turn. Yeah, and I did the same thing you did. I was just blind.
Got that close to home and just let my guard down. I guess I don't know, but I said, I won't ever do that again. And and then when I got home, my wife was like, well, I figured you would have just stayed. I said, I would have stayed at the house with my ex-wife and her mom. Yeah. What makes you think I would have done that? Yeah. She's like, you certainly could have, and I could have. But when I left there, I was like, man, I'm 3 hours from home. I can be home in 3 hours.
I can make that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I did.
Do anything for 3 hours, right?
But I won't do that again. No. I won't do that. I won't do that again. But so, what are some other hints or tips or whatever that you wish insurance customers knew?
Oh gosh, Man, it's knowing, the liability obviously is something that most people, they know that there's a state minimum. The best way to describe your liability coverage is that's your lawsuit protection. So make sure you've got enough of that's going to protect your assets, because I think you said the word earlier, exposure.
Yes.
You're going to be exposed if you have a bad accident and you don't have the liability coverage you need in place. You're going to be exposed there. So that's the first thing is
What's
think
state
about
minimum now? 25, 50?
25, 50, yeah.
Okay, so think about this: $25,000. Name me a vehicle you can replace today for $25,000 or less. If you have an accident and you totaled the vehicle you hit and it's your fault, 80% of the vehicles on the road today, I promise you, $25,000 will not cover it.
Well, let me give you not a better scenario, just on the other end of it. Let's say you have $300,000 liability and you're in a major accident and there's some death involved and there's lawsuits involved, and you have a $500,000 home that's paid for and a company that's worth $2.5 million. Okay, so you have all kind of exposure then.
Yeah,
and for that, Jason will tell you, you can get an umbrella policy that covers from the top of that one all the way up to wherever you want it to cover that exposure. And people that are of wealth or have a lot of assets that they owe for, even that's very much requested by them to do that to keep that exposure covered. So
that's definitely something people will look for. But I really to try to maybe oversimplify the conversation a little bit, but a lot of times I tell people, let's make sure that we are protecting you against the devastation and not just worrying about the aggravation.
Yes.
Because so many people sometimes want, I want my deductibles lower, because I don't want to be out of pocket. Okay, but wouldn't it be better to be out of pocket a little bit more on your deductible and have some savings there, and then have better coverage on your liability to where if you were to be in a really bad accident and get sued, you don't have a devastating judgment, because that could be devastating financially to somebody. Whereas being out $1,000 versus $500, that's an aggravation for most people. I mean, again, I'm not making light of $1,000.
No, I get it.
Don't misunderstand me, but that's a lot different situation than being on the hook for $1 million.
Yeah.
If that's the case where you're in a judgment. So be sure that you're covering yourself against devastation and not just focusing on the aggravation.
That's a good way to put it. I like that.
That's probably my biggest tip when I talk to people is make sure you got your devastation potential covered.
That's a great way to say it.
Instead of worrying so much just about the aggravation part of it.
And no one, I'm never happy when I get that text that says, hey, your insurance is due and we're going to automatically withdraw it from your account. I'm never like, yay, yippee.
Nobody likes those. Nobody likes those.
But I sure appreciate it when I need it. I do appreciate it when I need it. And now I'm also one of those geeks. I kind of stay on top of that. I try to keep an eye on it, although I admittedly now don't know what my deductible is on my house.
Right. But I'll also say this, so much of that is automated now too. I mean, again, some of it's coming from our offices or other agents' offices that they have the ability to send you a text reminder. But so much of that is automated too, coming from the company.
Yes.
That happens. So inadvertently, what happens sometimes is you'll get a text from the company and a text from our office. Maybe you get, and that makes people upset a little bit too. So,
or when they say, "Well, I didn't get it," you say, "Well, I did."
Right.
I got the same thing that said your address on it. So anyway.
Yeah. But no, you're right, and people do get aggravated. But we also get thank you calls for, hey, I really appreciate you saying to me that.
Definitely.
The one thing we never get a thank you for is, hey, you always get the call when the rates go up, but we very rarely ever get a call and anybody says, thanks for letting my rate go down. And that happens from time to time. The rate goes down from time to time. We don't ever get a call about that.
No, you don't.
you hit certain milestones in life, and or you had a citation on your record or an accident on your record, and finally that comes off. Well, then you could see more savings on that. But now typically auto accident, how long will it stay on someone's record like that, where it quote unquote counts against them?
Right. Typically, and again, every situation is different, so it's going to depend on what accident it is, if it's at fault, whatever. But 3 years would be to answer the question. Typically,
yeah,
3 years is what the typical time is.
Now here's my favorite.
5 sometimes.
That's true.
If it's right, if you have a major violation involved with that accident, it certainly can be as much as 5.
Here's one of my favorites. Man, what can you do about making my deductible go away? And here's what I used to explain to them: nothing. Okay. First of all, your policy, and y'all need to know this, your policy very clearly states insurance does not kick in until the deductible is paid. It's that simple. Oh, well, so-and-so does it. Well, good for them. Maybe they can make it better in prison than I can. But, oh, well, I know so-and-so. Oh, good.
Good.
I'm happy for them.
Go get them.
I'm happy that they can do that. I can't, and I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Because, again, that legal document called your insurance policy, if you have to go to court over that, the last thing you want coming out in court is that you never paid a deductible for that repair. Yeah. Because at that point, the insurance company owes $0 until that deductible is paid.
You were on that side of the business, so that's.
I was, and that's why I said I saw that, and so often it was people like, "Man, come on, is there anything I can work that?" I said, "There's no working it in there."
Mm-hmm.
And again, now with AI, and State Farm was one of the first to institute it. When you go, like, let's say you have an auto accident and you go to get repairs, one of the first things they do is they walk around that car and they take pictures. They upload those to your insurance. Well, let me tell you what State Farm has. State Farm has what they call a hotspot AI generator. And it knows your make and model of vehicle, and it knows where those body lines should be lined up, and it knows that there shouldn't be a dent in that fender right there, or that bumper shouldn't be crooked like that. And it flags all of those things when it uploads to them. So when that desk adjuster opens that file up, and he's like, okay, dink, 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 I see all this, and then he looks at the facts of loss, and the facts of loss are hit a deer, whatever. He's like, okay, that matches up. Mm-hmm. That doesn't match up, however, if, I don't know, I came out in the parking lot and somebody hit it with a buggy. Okay, well, now all that damage doesn't match up with it. Yeah. So with AI, there is just, they've almost made it fraud proof, and it becomes very difficult to try to get something past them, because it's not just a set of human eyes. I could see when there was a guy who was working on his 80th claim that week on a Friday afternoon, and he's tired and he's like, click, pay it, click, pay it. I could see that, but that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
Because before he ever sees it, it's went through several AI filters. Okay. So that they know. And there's some shops that they have a full 360 camera system. They'll pull it in a bay, and that thing it looks like a satellite orbiting the plane. It goes around and it measures the gaps in the doors, so that they can tell exactly what was pre-existing condition. And that's another thing. Used to, if you had insurance A and you had a claim and they wrote you a check, but you didn't get it fixed, and now a couple of years later you have insurance B and you make a claim and you try to claim that, you used to be able to get away with that at times.
Not no more.
You can't do it anymore because they share that information now, and that's something that's still fairly new. That's something they just started doing.
Cool.
Yeah, if you had insurance A and then you made another claim with insurance A, they could see it because it's their file. But now those insurance companies are sharing that information. And because they're sharing it, you can't get away with that stuff. So I guess all in all, the moral of the story is don't suck. Don't try to lie.
You apply that to anything.
That's just the life rule.
That's life.
That's actually the first conversation Jason and I ever had. I was umpiring a baseball game,
and he told you don't suck.
He came out and he said, "Hey man, here's the moral of the story:
don't suck. So be a good umpire."
That's not what he said at all.
Yeah. It was not that nice.
He was much nicer.
Okay.
It was there was a rundown between second and third, and I don't remember if I called his runner out or it was the other team's runner and I called him safe. But he comes out of the dugout, he calls time, and he walks out and he says, "You see all them parents sitting behind me?" I was like, "Yeah." He said, "So I've got to come out and at least ask you this." I was like, "Okay." He said,
"Was that guy really out?"
Tell me what you saw. And I told him what I saw. He said, "Okay, that's all I needed." And he went back to his dugout. Mm-hmm. And which I've done that before. I've called time and I've marched up to an umpire and I said, Now listen, don't throw me out here, but stick with me. He's like, okay, I can't believe that you can't understand how these parents don't know what they're doing. Do you even pay attention? That's what I want to ask them sometimes because they don't. Yeah, and I've had umpires.
So you got everybody.
Yeah, oh man, my parents are tickled to death.
Yeah,
they think, boy, he's really handing it to that umpire as he should.
Yeah.
And that umpire's just sitting there like, uh-huh. And I've had him look at me and say, so did you want me to toss you? And I'm like, no. He's like, okay, well, let me just run you back to the dugout. Coach, I've heard enough. Get back to the dugout. I'm going back to the dugout. And I walk over there and
kicking dirt.
And you know, every mama and daddy on the team, they're high-fiving me as I walk into the dugout.
8-year-olds arise with these.
Yeah.
Right.
Ooh, coach nearly said bad words, I think. You know, so,
Sandy had his kids when he coached. He had them like little. He was like a little drill sergeant, not a little drill. He was a drill sergeant.
That's my T-ball team.
He would whistle or 1, 2, 3, and they'd holler 4 or whatever, and, or up 2, 3, 4.
Well, you know, when you're coaching T-ball,
yeah,
it's like herding cats.
Well, there's a kid in the outfield that's got his glove on the ground and he's laying down.
Yes, and crying.
Yeah,
because when's it going to be time to eat the goldfish crackers? Yeah. You know. So I just learned early on, you've got to have something that's going to get everyone's attention at one time.
Yeah.
And so I teach them, the very first thing I ever teach those kids is when I yell 1, everyone should stop and go here. And when I yell 2, here, and 3, you go down to the ground and, you know, butt down, head up, and with your glove open. And I tell them, every play that you make, especially at the T-ball level, you should make him one of those 3 positions. So when little Johnny gets popped in the face with a pop fly because he tried to catch it like this, I can go out there and check on him, make sure he's okay. And I say, little Johnny, that was a number 11, son. We don't do number 11s, okay?
We do 1, 2s, or
1s,
3s.
2s, or 3s. That's why this happened.
I had a very different philosophy when I coached T-ball. I wasn't going to be anywhere near that strict because what I wanted to see was which ones are out there picking the daisies and which ones are throwing the mud clots and which ones are kicking the dirt and which ones are trying to learn the game.
Yeah.
Once I see that, I know how to coach them.
Yeah.
Let the ones that want to pick the daisies and kick the mud clots and let them go and do that. And then let's coach these that want to play and learn the game. So I went a different direction.
When my grandson started in T-ball, eventually the best fielder they put at the pitcher's mound.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So he's picking it up and zinging them to first base. He's fielding it, and the first base kid, I mean, I'm standing behind the first base dugout, and there's balls whizzing by his head. And I said, somebody better tell that little first baseman to turn and look at the ball. So, but they told Jackson, don't throw it, just pick it up, don't throw it over there. I said, okay, so the good kid, you told him just to hold the ball.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you this, coaching T-ball I have never been beat up more than when I coach T-ball. Because, you get up there and you setting the ball on the tee, and you got to watch that kid.
They'll whack you.
You got to watch him the whole time. He back away real fast.
Whack you in the shins.
That was a rule. Now, I would institute that as a rule. You didn't swing the bat unless I told you could.
There you go.
Because I caught many to the shoulder and the head and the knee. Dusty Ryan's son, he got me one time, and I turned and looked at her and said, guess who's going to be doing the overnight dedication and request show? It's going to be you.
Yeah.
But, that – coaching baseball, it's a different world. And I love the game. I've always loved the game. And my dad was a professional ball player, so I grew up. we had tickets to the Astros my entire life, and so we were always at the ballpark at the Astrodome. And I just fell in love with the game so early in life. And it's so unfair because I love the game so much, and I have so little talent. And
so those coach. That's why you coach.
That's exactly why I coach. Because listen, I'm 5'8" in Gene Simmons boots. Okay, I can't. I'm not. I was never going to go beyond. Yeah. But I'm 53, and I've either been playing, coaching, or umpiring since I was 5 years old. Mm-hmm. So in 48 years, I have picked up a thing or two along the way. Incidentally, I can tell you the best ballparks to get tossed out of. I've been tossed out of nearly all of them.
Okay.
At some point or another.
So you let a coach steal your dream, in other words.
Yes, I did. No, it wasn't my dream. It was
the reality.
It was the reality of life. Yeah. And when I say life's not fair, it's like I love music. I love music. I cannot sing. I can't play an instrument. I have no talent at all. But I love music so much, and I have a very eclectic music tastes. And one of my employees told me one time, he said, Man, Sandy, if you ever lost this phone, he said they wouldn't know if it was a white person or black person they need to give it to. He said, you're the only one I know of goes from F the Police to Frank Sinatra in the same playlist.
Oh, man.
But again, life's not fair.
Yeah.
Obviously. Look at us. And then look at Jason.
Yeah, look at Jason.
Yeah.
Hey, look how handsome he is, and then look at hair,
Successful.
some arms.
Big arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when he didn't have arms that size.
Yeah. I remember
When was that?
It was a number of years ago. Number of years ago. Now, I'll tell you, it wasn't the biceps I noticed first, though. The first time I noticed was his forearms. When his forearms got like
Popeye
looked like he'd been
size?
running the chainsaw. I was like, okay, Jason been working out.
Oh gosh, no, you guys are too much, man.
Jason, thank you so much for coming in and joining us.
I really enjoyed it.
Sorry. We say we're sorry.
Nah, no need, man. I can get abused anywhere. It doesn't matter.
Might as well do it here. Then.
But if you are shopping, I would encourage you to give Jason Hardy and the folks at State Farm a call. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I did. I called him, and he took good care of me. And I'm very happy.
I know, and I've been heartbroken ever since.
I know
then,
you
but-
have.
But he asked, and I didn't.
Yeah, you tried to quote me something Hakeem insurance or something. I don't know. I wouldn't.
That's what you get from independent.
I was gonna gig you a little bit on your eclectic music taste at the State Farm jingle that you just quoted there. You know who wrote that?
Who's that?
Barry Manilow.
Really?
I
did not know that.
Yeah, but he wrote a lot of them. Dr. Pepper and 7-Up.
Yeah. I'll give you a piece of trivia there.
Okay, cool. That's good to know. Yeah. I'm still.
He writes the songs.
That's right. He writes.
Makes the whole world sing.
I hate that y'all quit using the words discount, because I loved the Aaron Rodgers discount double check, or the lady who's having a baby. And the husband's trying to speed to the emergency room or the hospital when she's having the baby. And she's like, don't mess with my discount.
Yes.
And
that's one of those plugins.
I guess I didn't want to we didn't get it completely away. We still have some discount. Drive Safe and Save is still a great discount. But as far as those bundles go, rate adjustments is
rate
how we,
adjustment.
how we,
well, that's
how
a
we
good
try
way to put it.
It's funny because that commercial with the lady in the van having the baby, that came out about the time my lovely wife was pregnant with the princess. And the munchkin, who was about 8.5, 9 years old at the time, she looked at her and said, Mom, please don't have a car baby.
Please don't have a car baby. Or a bus baby.
Please don't have a car
or a
baby.
boat baby.
Please don't.
Oh, man.
Because, she was at that age where she started asking questions. And my wife said, okay, come here. And she got her a YouTube video and let her start watching that YouTube video. And she's
About
like,
having a baby? Oh, no.
oh, my gosh.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, well, there's no better deterrent.
Yeah.
There's no better deterrent than letting them see how it looks.
Coming out.
Let me just say this. I'd had 3 kids up to that point. All 3 of my kids came by C-section.
Yeah.
So I'd never seen another kind of birth until then, and I'm still scarred from that. I'm still not okay. Just wake up middle of the night. I'm still not okay.
Okay, let's end this session quick.
Good move.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we have more of Off the Back Porch right after this.
Hitting a buck to hang on the wall rarely happens by accident. It starts with preparation, takes some skill, and often even a little luck. Country Village Sporting Goods is your headquarters for all 3. Right now, check out a brand new shipment of feeders, so new that they're still pulling them out of the boxes. A huge selection of lacrosse boots and plenty of warm weather camo for that early season hunt. And of course, bow hunters can't go wrong with the sales and service at Country Village Sporting Goods, 965 Smackover Highway in El Dorado.
Spice up your tailgate with locally raised farm fresh products at Davis Farms Country Market, like the new Code 3 and Davis Double D Farm Salsa, fresh from the field in locally grown purple hull peas, super sweet vine ripened cantaloupes, Arkansas made meals that are easy on your wallet and your time. And nothing says fall has arrived like mums and pumpkins. There are plenty to choose from at Davis Farms Country Market, 4523 Junction City Highway, or call 870-639-1323. Hey, welcome back for more of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer here at our favorite place, and that is Main Street Pizza.
Yeah.
And where the pizza's the same every single time.
And every time we come, there's a pizza that. Do you order that? It just shows up, or do you order it? Or
well, we used to order it. Now we don't even order it. They just bring it out to us.
They just see 2 fat guys come in here and they start making pizzas.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, it is a good thing, isn't it?
I like it.
Boomer, there are certain clubs you can belong to that you get benefits. Like, and I don't know,
Well, buyers clubs and something.
buyers
like that.
clubs and Amway, I guess, or
They still exist.
I don't know.
Okay.
Mary Kay, you can get up in one of them pink Cadillacs. And
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Well, this is a different kind of club with
Okay.
different kind of benefits.
Oh, I see the headlines.
Executives at a company that owns strip clubs around the country have been charged with bribing a New York official with free trips to some of their venues with private dances to avoid paying more than $8 million in taxes. Houston-based RCI Hospitality Holdings and its corporate leaders received favorable treatment during at least 6 tax audits that were performed over a decade in exchange for perks given to a state auditor, and that's according to the New York Attorney General. She alleges that RCI gave the auditor at least 13 complimentary trips to Florida, including hotels and meals, up to $5,000 per day for private dances at their strip clubs, including Tootsie's Cabaret in Miami.
Oh, Tootsie's.
The auditor also received free dances, food, and admission at clubs in New York. Quote, RCI's executives shamelessly use their strip clubs to bribe their way out of paying millions of dollars in taxes, they said in a statement. RCI Hospitality, publicly traded on the NASDAQ Composite, owns and operates more than 60 clubs and sports bars and restaurants around the country, including Rick's Cabaret establishments in more than a dozen cities, including New York. According to the company's website, it also owns 2 other businesses in Manhattan. And so
this guy was able to forgive them of their back taxes or something because
yeah, it gave him a favorable audit. Hey, instead of $4 million, let's just put you down for $1 million this time. Okay.
And I get
You want to go with us down to Tootsie's down to Miami?
unlimited lap dances.
Right.
Oh, your sins will surely find you out.
These,
Or else we wouldn't have this picture.
these clubs bribed a government official with lap dances. Finally, a government job that has real perks and benefits.
No kid.
So, yeah, because, nothing says financial responsibility like a lap dance. A G-string and a cocktail.
The congressmen and the senators, they have their own barbershops and their
post
own
office.
post offices and those kind of nice offices and all that. But this guy,
Yeah, he had
he's
it
an
down.
IRS guy. He had it down.
Yeah. 13 complimentary trips just to Florida.
$5,000 spending money.
Yes. Yeah.
I wonder if they just gave him monopoly money or real
I don't know.
cash.
And once all this
is he
came
in
out,
jail now?
it didn't say. But once all this came out, now he's got to go home and explain to his significant
Yeah,
other
yeah.
all those work trips and those late nights.
Audits.
Those audits.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to work out good.
I don't think that's going to help.
I don't think he's going to enjoy how that's going to.
Thursday. He's not going to like Thursday.
No, he's not going to like Thursday at all. How about a Florida man, Boomer?
Oh, yeah. I'm always ready. I was wondering when he was going to get there.
Florida man trades shopping carts for stolen 3-wheeler, gets distracted by live goats.
Traded shopping carts for a stolen 3-wheeler and goats.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something. Anyway, Lake Butler, Florida. Deputies are scratching their heads after 37-year-old Ricky Rusty McAllister was arrested Tuesday following what authorities described as a very Florida chain of events.
All right.
When the cops say
A very Florida
only
chain.
in Florida,
Yeah.
It's bad. According to police reports, McAllister stole a 3-wheeler from a neighbor's driveway around 2 a.m. It wasn't even a very nice 3-wheeler, said the victim, but that's Florida for you. The next morning, McAllister tried to barter the stolen vehicle at a local convenience store. His offer? 3 shopping carts and the 3-wheeler in exchange for 3 cartons of cigarettes.
Okay. He needed some smokes.
When I said no, he said, well, I've got some animals that sweetens the deal, said the store clerk. Rusty reportedly produced 2 goats, a chicken, and a very confused pot-bellied pig from the back of his truck. One of the goats reportedly climbed on top of the counter, and the chicken somehow ended up in the store's freezer section. Witnesses say the pig escaped the store, and that's when McAllister jumps on the stolen 3-wheeler and chases the pig down to capture it. He was spotted by deputies wrestling the pig and trying to drive at the same time. He now faces charges for grand theft, animal endangerment, attempted barter while intoxicated. I didn't know that was against the law.
Yeah.
And driving while intoxicated,
Yeah.
according to deputies. That is a very Florida chain of events.
Way horrible chain of events, even for Florida.
Hey, man.
Look here.
Can I get a cart? Can I get 3 cartons of them Vantage Ultralight 100s, please? Yeah, that's going to be $700 or however much they cost now.
Yeah. How about a 4-wheeler?
How about this? See that three-wheeler out there?
Yeah, it's not a four-wheeler; it's a three-wheeler.
It's a three-wheeler. You know, the most dangerous vehicle ever made.
Yeah,
you see that
you
three-wheeler?
keep that
out
up
there?
right.
That three-wheeler, and I got 3 of y'all shopping carts too.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna bring those to you.
Yeah,
And
to
I
top
got
it
2
off.
goats, a chicken, and a pot-bellied pig. I'll throw in.
Yeah, but he's confused somehow.
But yeah, the pig's confused.
Yeah, because they're smart. They, you know, you can confuse them.
So, oh wait, the pig run off. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 and he drives off and picks up the pig. Can you see him driving down the road? Yeah, you know, because it didn't have they
had a little button.
Yeah, so holding it, trying to get back in. The deputies are chasing him down through there.
Kidding.
I mean, it's just that's got to be the most Florida thing
Oh,
ever.
I'm telling you, forever.
The most Florida thing ever.
I'll be.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we have our favorite game, Drunk, Hire, Stupid. That's coming up for you right after this on Off the Back Porch.
Homes are typically heated or cooled 24/7, 365, using nearly half of all home energy. That new stainless steel refrigerator may look cool, but upgrading to the quietest and most efficient HVAC system can have much greater rewards. Choose a system with a Wi-Fi enabled thermostat, so the most important appliance in the house is also the smartest, allowing you to set the perfect comfort level from anywhere. Presented by Lennox. Learn what perfect feels like at Lennox.com.
Everybody loves a parade, and Hilarious Pizza throws parades all week long. Bring the family in for your favorites, or explore the variety that Hilarious Pizza offers. Come join us at Hilarious Pizza for the greatest parade ever.
Hey, and welcome back for more of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer. And Boomer, here it is. It is time.
Drunk, high, or stupid.
Our favorite game.
It is.
And this one is called Survivor, Backyard Edition.
Okay.
All right. It all started on a sunny Saturday morning in rural New Mexico when 4 lifelong friends, Mark, Devin, Tommy, and Earl, decided Netflix wasn't extreme enough. Mm-hmm. They were going to film their very own survival reality show. The location? The mountains outside their sleepy little tourist town.
Okay.
Armed with a GoPro camera, the friends took to the mountains with very few supplies, stating on camera, this is how real survivalists do it.
Okay.
At some point, Mark announced the Nightfall Challenge would involve whomever caught the first food. Earl tried coaxing squirrels with marshmallows. Tommy and Devin tried fishing using thread from their clothes and a couple of tops from some Pop-Top cans. Mark decided he would catch a raccoon. Needless to say, that didn't turn out well. Once the temperatures dropped into the 40s on top of the mountain, they gave up their search for food and started trying to make fire. It just so happened that one of the men had found a Coleman lantern, and they were able to drip enough fuel out of it to help start the fire. Problem was they didn't think ahead of time to gather wood. So now they're just throwing cedar tops and pine straw on top of it, trying to keep it going while the other two went out to find wood. Mm-hmm. Well, when you throw cedar tops and pine straw on top of a fire, what is it going to do?
Smoke.
It's going to smoke like crazy. This made a huge amount of smoke, and even though it was nighttime, it was spotted by a ranger in a forest lookout tower about 11 miles away. 11 miles away at night, and he spots the smoke. I guess they're trained for that.
Yeah.
But still. He alerted authorities, and Deputy Ralph Running Bear from a nearby reservation was the first to arrive. When I got there, 2 men were passed out on the ground. The other 2 were attempting some type of tribal dance wearing only their underwear. The men were all arrested and charged with numerous crimes, including violation of a local burn ban, trespassing, harassment of wildlife, and other charges. So, Boomer, the question is, Earl, Tommy, Devin, and Mark, were they drunk, high, or stupid?
Okay, so this time, there's a lot of mitigating circumstances
There
here.
is.
First of all, let me ask you this. Do you know any of them's last names?
No, I do not.
Do you know what they were driving?
I don't know that either.
They were on what?
Let's just say a 79 Dodge D100 pickup.
Okay, so were they on, it says they were for trespassing. Mm-hmm. Were they on Indian grounds? Or
Well, they were
on
on somebody's private land.
Tribal land? Or I'm going to say, first of all, stupid.
I tend to agree.
Because they said they were going to go do this without any planning. They were going to just do it like you're supposed to. Because survivalists, they said, we're going to do it like true survivalists. Well, true survivalists plan.
So weeks.
So they're stupid. And I'm going to guess high.
Yeah. I don't know about the high.
But I'm just guessing high.
Yeah.
But I know definitely stupid.
Stupid is definitely one of them, but also drunk.
Oh, you see, I didn't get all the information.
Well, no, because it just gives it away. In those other charges that were mentioned, and numerous other charges, they were also charged with public intoxication and littering for the 64 empty Busch Light cans that were laying on the ground. 64 of them.
What is 4 into 64?
Was that 16 apiece?
16 apiece.
If they drank them equally.
Yeah.
But those other two guys were passed out, so they may have only quit after 12.
Or they may have gotten more.
True.
So then we do no drunk and stupid.
Drunk and stupid, definitely.
And maybe high.
And probably
the first part would be stupid. They're all stupid.
There's no question.
Yes.
Like you say you'll do it like real survivalists. Well, again, remember, so my oldest son, he has a plan to go hike the Appalachian Trail.
Oh,
which is a many months ordeal.
Yeah. That's not something you do overnight.
You basically, depending on the time of year, you can either start down in Georgia and work your way up to New Hampshire or Vermont or one of them liberal Northeast states, or you start there and work your way down based, again, on the time of year. And but this is something he's been planning for years. And he's read and studied and talked to people who've done it, and he knows where all the little
substations are,
all the little markers and where to stop for this and do that. And he's told me about the traditions of people who will leave extra shoes behind because someone's going to come through and their shoes are going to be tore up. Or, and of course you don't want to carry everything with you because you're having to carry it all. So, you get to some places and they'll leave silverware and they'll leave plates and they just ask that you wash them off and leave them there.
Yeah.
Some places they'll, some of those substations will have food, canned food that you can have. And so he's planned all this, and this has been going on for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And
does he have someone with him, or is he going to do it by
as far as I know, he's going to do it by himself.
Yeah.
But he's dead set on hiking the Appalachian Trail.
Is he going to do that when he retires?
I don't.
Are you going to quit his good job?
I don't know what he's going to do.
Because, like you said, it's months.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Well, that's good. But like you say, survivalists or people that are going to actually hike the Appalachian Trail are going to plan, and in this case, years. So
now you got that guy that they used to throw him out of a helicopter.
Yeah, Bear Grylls.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, what he did was impressive. I always said I'd be more impressed to see him survive in Baltimore.
Downtown somewhere.
Yeah, drop him off in Baltimore. Let's see if he makes it out of there.
How about West Memphis?
Let's drop him off in Memphis and see where.
Or Jackson. Let's go to Jackson.
It makes it to Chicago.
Yeah, South Side.
Portland.
Yeah,
So.
Well, just mostly peaceful anyway.
Yeah. That isn't that where they were throwing bricks? Those peaceful bricks.
Yeah, they were lighting things.
Yeah,
They were planning because they were lighting fires.
They were planning. There is no question about that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Boomer, let's talk about some stuff that's going to be going on around the area. And one of the first ones is the Smack Over Old Town Festival is coming back.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Friday, October 24th and Saturday the 25th. Of course, includes the Miss Old Town pageant, the Blacktop Boogie with DJ Brandon Moore.
Yeah.
They're going to have a 5K run, 3-on-3 ball tournament, rod wrenching, drill bit toss, egg toss, cornhole tournament, bingo, bunco tournament, arm wrestling, tug of war, cakewalk, chili cook-off, car show, poker run, duck race, which I love the duck race.
I was going to ask if they have the duck race.
Kids Corner, trade days, vendors, food trucks, carnival rides, carnival games, and so much more.
This has been a great festival for all the years I've been here.
And, it was always a summer festival. Yeah. It was always in June.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad to see them bringing it back. And doing it in the fall. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Here's a free event that's open to the community Saturday, October the 18th from 1 until 4 p.m. And it's going to be, they're going to have games, arts and crafts, talent showcase, story time and music, photo booth, face painting, an ice cream truck, custom T-shirts, cups, and it's all going to be. It's the Family Fun Fest, and it's going to be going on at that little area over at Mad across the street from the splash pad.
Okay,
and that's from 1 to 4 on the 18th, and then of course you've got tons of trunk or treats.
Yes,
that's going to be going on around the area,
and there's always downtown places that have alternate trick-or-treat spots.
Night of the Living Newtons.
Okay.
And this is being put on by the Historical Foundation here locally. They haunted hayride, candlelit haunted Newton House tour, refreshments, and it says family fun. Personally,
if it's haunted, that ain't
it's
family
not
to me.
fun. That's not fun
That's
to me.
not fun to
Haunted
me.
is not fun to me. But maybe if that's your thing, hey,
Yeah, if you
have
like
a great
the devil,
time.
if you like the devil, go ahead. Sandy and I, whenever he shows up,
We say
don't-
goodbye.
We tell him Jesus is on our side.
That's right.
We got Jesus
You
on the
better
friends and
believe it.
family plan.
That's right. Let's see. Coming up, this is in November the 14th at Madhouse 101, Copper Flats. The band is going to be there. Never any cover charge for those events. And
just pay for your food.
That's right. Just pay for your food. And then Sunday, November the 9th at 6 p.m. at Emmanuel Baptist Church, Rhett Walker and the Look at God tour.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who Rhett Walker is, you know you've missed out because Rhett's great.
Yeah, he just got some great music.
And now it says he's going to have special guest Mackenzie Phillips. Is that Mackenzie Phillips from One Day at a Time? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's going to be cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. A pumpkin decoration and mum sale being put on by the Historical Commission is taking place October 23rd from 4 to 6, and it's going to be at 510 North of Jackson Street. Pumpkin decorating contest entries. Bring your own decorated pumpkin to the Newton House, and you'll be entered in the contest. No rules, no set theme. Just show us your most creative effort. Entries will be judged in 2 divisions, 12 and under and 13 plus. Winners will be announced that night. Winners take home a festive boo basket, and then they're going to have a mum sale. Gorgeous 8-inch mums for $20 to dress up your porch for fall. And again, that's going to be going on at the Newton House, October 23rd from 4 until 6.
A lot of stuff happening.
A lot of stuff happening. This is the time of year, you know.
Fall festivals. That's a lot of fun.
It gets to be that time of year where you can have that kind of fun stuff, and so really looking forward to a lot of those things. And of course, one of the big ones coming up is the Murphy USA Classic, the football game between this year's Southern Arkansas University and Arkansas Tech.
Tech's playing here.
And South Arkansas now will actually be there live.
I was going to ask if y'all were going to do
during the tailgate, and we're going to be cooking and giving away totally free of charge pulled pork sandwiches.
Really?
Yeah. Now we would ask, we have a local charity. I'm not going to say who it is yet because we're still working out the details with them, but we have a local charity. So we would ask any donation that you
Go
would
to
give
the charity.
that and we're going to collect that and give it to the charity. But
Cool.
we're going to be giving away.
Are you going to do the pulled pork?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Well, Sandy knows how to do that.
I'm going to cook pulled pork, and we're going to have pulled pork sandwiches, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. And
I always show up for food. I may have to come help on that.
We could use the help.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Pass them out.
And again, that is coming up on October the 18th, Saturday the 18th. Tailgating, I believe, starts at 11 and goes until 2. We'll be there much earlier than that. And but look for us. We're going to be over there under the new pavilion they built right next to the skate park.
Yeah.
That's where we're going to be. You'll be set up over there for that. And so I think it's going to be a lot of fun as well. And it's a great event.
Yeah.
That's a great, 20-something years ago, I was invited to my first ever meeting about that event. And we were like, hey, we want to have a football game, a D2 football game that kind of has the feel of a bowl game.
Yeah.
And have it here in El Dorado. And man, I think the very first year was SAU and UA Monticello. And that was a great, that was a great game. And, over the years, you've had OBU has been there, Henderson has been there.
And it always takes on, of course, it is a college game, but it looks like college game day.
It really does.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a big to do, and I think SAU, they travel so well, and I think it's kind of become a de facto game for them. They want to keep getting invited back, and that's one of the reasons they travel so well. They want to keep coming to that game,
Yeah.
and so most every year now it'll probably be SAU and whomever
Opponent.
Yeah. But you want it to be someone that's close enough in that Great American Conference that they can travel as well. So, Arkansas Tech coming down from Russellville, that should be a good crowd as well. I think it's going to be a great game. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And my son Jackson is going to be there. He's a graduate of SAU, so I'm sure he'll be wearing his purple
Mule Rider stuff.
purple and yellow, and be rooting for the Mule Riders. And let me just tell you, the first year that we ever did that, I worked with the officials.
Okay.
And man, halftime, they go in the locker room and they're like, okay, they get out a tablet. So-and-so, you threw a flag for holding on the second play of the third drive.
They review everything right
They review
then?
it right then. And he's like, yeah. And I mean, off the top of his head, number 65, grabbed him out here.
Yeah.
And like, okay, write that down. And they go over every flag, every turnover, every timeout to make sure that it's all right.
Yeah.
And they go out there and do the second half, you know.
Wow.
And they have to have an official. They have to have an alternative official in the booth who can come down in case someone gets hurt. I mean, it's real deal football.
Yeah.
And you know, I enjoy.
And they have conference people doing the time in the all that and the sticks and everything.
Yeah, I certainly enjoy Wildcat football.
Yeah,
I do. But man, if you want to watch some really good football, college level football, you can't beat it.
Well, and even you know, Division II like that.
Yeah,
that's still the best of the kids that played on your local team.
That's right.
And so it's a step above. You know, it's not SEC football or Big Ten, but you can. The difference is between the big ones and the Division II ones is the size of the linemen.
Yeah, most of the time that's exactly right.
Because these teams will have speed.
Yeah,
they'll have. That's why you'll see a Jerry Rice from Murray State or some small college.
Yeah,
because they'll have speed. They just won't have those huge linemen.
They don't have those 360-pound linemen.
They can run a 4.140, you know, or whatever. Yeah.
But it's really good football. So if you get the chance, and it's not that expensive. I'm sorry, I don't remember off the top of my head how much the tickets are, but it's not expensive.
No, it's not
and you can take the family out and enjoy it. And man, they'll
be tailgating. They'll
be tailgating.
They're up and down Fifth Street.
It will be. It is a real college game day atmosphere, and you can't miss out. Now, I mentioned a while ago the El Dorado Wildcats. Boomer, I'll be real honest with you. I did not expect them to go to Marion and beat Marion.
Yeah,
Marion's a salty team.
You know, they went up there and handled it.
Years ago, Marion used to be everybody's homecoming day because you knew you could beat them and the game be over quick. That's not the case
anymore.
with them anymore. And they, that was a game. Marion staged a comeback at the end of that game, and El Dorado was able to hold them off. And El Dorado had 55 rushes for 245 yards. Now, Marion has two D1
players
commits in the backfield. They rushed the ball 23 times for 60 yards.
I know. I remember the stats.
23 rushes for 60 yards. So that El Dorado defense is probably one of the best I've seen in a long time. I mean, you and I had the wonderful opportunity to call some great games for El Dorado, especially, you know, when you had Jimmy Ford, James Ford, Luke Lansdale. Those guys were linebackers, and of course Bijan Jackson and some of them. You know, those were tough defenses. I don't know if I've ever seen a defense this tough.
Really,
El Dorado's defense is that good.
Good, that's great.
They are, and the thing is you may burn them on this play. You may very well burn them, but you won't do it twice in a row.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, they are really good at adjusting.
Yeah.
And changing things up, and you know, you may even run that one 8 yards, but the next 3 will be for negative yardage.
Yeah,
and that's just how El Dorado's defense. They're really good.
That's good. I'm glad for that.
So I'm excited to see where this team can
go. Going to go this year.
But let me tell you, they have their work cut out for them this week. They're playing Sylvan Hills now. Sylvan Hills, who at one time went like 0-20 over a couple of year period. That's not the case anymore. As Stephen Jones told us last week, his friend, who used to be the coach at Searcy, won a state championship at Searcy, has now gone to Sylvan Hills. Yeah. They beat Benton last week, and Benton was Benton was like the number 2 team in the state.
Yeah,
and they beat Benton last week.
Wow!
And so, according to Rex Nelson, and this is Rex's ratings, but El Dorado moved up from number 5 to number 2 because 2, 3, and 4 all lost last week.
I'll be.
And so El Dorado moved up to number 2.
I didn't look at that this week.
Greenwood's number 1 in 6A.
Yeah.
And obviously.
They hadn't lost a game since Jesus was here, I think.
Yeah. Well, they lost a state championship game a couple years ago.
Yeah, when we beat them.
Yeah. But they also lost one that the score didn't indicate, but they lost that game. And, man, that still pains me because we had it on camera. We were doing the games on TV back then.
Yeah.
And we're set up. I mean, our field camera is at the first down marker. And that kid got hit 2 yards behind the first down marker. And they gave him the first down, and Greenwood kept the ball.
Kept the ball and scored.
And scored.
Yep, I remember that.
And that was just brutal. Brutal. You and I have had we've had our adventures calling lots of fun
We've had
games.
a lot of fun games. Yes, we have, and a lot of it was in the stands.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. And for some years we called from the stands.
Yes,
and we used it,
but we loved it because we're surrounded by fans.
Yeah, we said, well, we're in the stands with the fans. And,
that's right.
So, but then there's a lot of games that we did that. The action wasn't on the field. It was, you go some places and you see some things. You're going, how do they get by with that? How do they let their dancers do that? And
Boomer asked me one time at this one school. He said, "Don't they have mamas?" I said, "Boomer, most of them are mamas. Those are mamas that are dancing like that."
And that was when the church was supplying all the cameras. We was doing it for the church.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was something.
I remember a Lake Hamilton game. And this was, El Dorado was not having a good year. But we go to Lake Hamilton, and I think John Thomas Shepard, it was his senior year. And we fought our way back, fighting our way back, but Lake Hamilton's got the ball, and basically they can run the clock out with a couple of first downs. We hit them behind the line, and so now they're in a passing situation, and they have to throw the ball, and Jeremy Owens picks that ball off for a pick six to put El Dorado on top. Mm-hmm. And it was like it took all the wind out of their sails, and we ended up beating Lake Hamilton at Lake Hamilton, which is not something that happened a lot back then.
No, back then they were good at Lake Hamilton.
Yeah, they were good everywhere, but especially at home.
At home, yeah.
But yeah, that, of course, then in 2008, we go to the state championship game and play Lake Hamilton, and it just wasn't. I mean, they were just a far superior team. They beat us. But the next year, 2009, El Dorado goes and to the state championship game, plays Pine Bluff, beats Pine Bluff, goes back the next year. I don't remember who he played. Maybe Lake Hamilton again, I don't recall, but beat them for the state championship, and then went back the next year, played Pine Bluff again, and won a state championship again.
I was trying to remember the year Steve Harrell and I called the game, and we weren't in a booth. We were out on the deck of the press box, and it was mega cold. And I was sitting next to the cameraman for for the state, the guys that were filming the film. But I can't remember who we played when Steve and I did that. We were just radio then, and because we were doing radio at the time when you were doing TV.
I was doing
at one
TV.
time.
Yeah, and that was one of the ones we won.
Yeah, but we were out.
But it was cold.
It was frigid that night.
So that had to be in 2009. And the reason I say that was because the week before, El Dorado had went to Jonesboro. And I have never been so cold in my life.
Yeah. I didn't go to that game.
No, you didn't. Mm-hmm. And I had never been that cold in my life. Those little hand warmers that you squeeze them and they start getting warm, I was shoving them in my boots.
Yeah.
And it was 16 degrees at kickoff.
I remember
And, of course, it's Jonesboro, so there's no trees.
Yeah.
So the wind's just whipping.
Sweeping over the plains.
Jonesboro had the number one running back in the nation that year, and I can't remember his name. Mm-hmm. But El Dorado just laid the wood to him. And it got to where every time he touched the ball, he'd fumble it because he didn't want to get hit again. he didn't want Luke Lansdale decleating him again.
Luke was something.
Luke was something, the only reason that Luke and Jimmy Ford, in my opinion, the only reason we didn't see them playing at an SEC school is because neither one of them were taller than 6 foot.
Yeah, you're going to be linebacker. And this is what coaches in the SEC or big, major coaches teams will say. We may make a mistake on heart, but we'll never make a mistake on size.
That's right. Yeah.
If your arms aren't long enough,
you got to fit the
mold.
And here's the thing is because as smart, and that's what I say is the reason I say that about Jimmy and Luke is they were so smart. Mm-hmm. They could sniff the ball out. Mm-hmm. We used to talk about it on the TV and say, look where Jimmy just lined up. Mm-hmm. He knows where that ball's going. Mm-hmm. And they try to check down from that at the line of scrimmage. Well, then Luke would run over to the other spot.
Yeah,
and it was like, oh, no. Frying pan or fire, it's up to you.
Yeah.
And those guys were so smart and just had such a good nose for the football. But they're guys like that who are also 6'4".
Uh-huh.
Those are the ones that are going to be playing in the SEC.
4-4.
Yeah, going to be playing in the SEC. Yeah. And so you hated that for them. It was like Taylor Reed. If Taylor Reed would have been 6'3",
oh yeah,
he would have been.
He had all the desire you could have.
And the talent. He had all the talent in the world. And if he'd have been 6'3", he would have been the starting quarterback at LSU or Arkansas or somewhere like that. And
Except he was 5'9" or something.
No, he was right at 6 foot
Was
tall.
he?
Yeah, he was right at 6. Now Lucas,
Glad I never walked
Lucas
out
was 5'8", 5'9", and that
Yeah.
was the problem.
Okay, I got him backwards.
The
I'm
problem
sorry.
there with Lucas is he couldn't see over the offensive line.
Yeah.
So there never was an opportunity for him to go under center.
Yeah.
He was going to have to hike from the pistol or the shotgun, either
Mm-hmm.
one. But I have a friend who was a recruiter for LSU, and he was at that second Pine Bluff State Championship game. And he leaned over to me and he said, and during a commercial break, he said, "Sandy, you want to know what Taylor Reed has that you can't put down on paper?" He said, "We call it the Manning factor. If you put the ball in his hands at the end of the game, he may not win the game, but he won't lose it for you." And he said, and that means almost as much as anything. He said, "God, if that kid could grow 2 inches."
Mm-hmm. If he's 6'2".
He said, just 2 more inches.
Mm-hmm.
He said he could be the starting quarterback at LSU.
Mm-hmm. He went to Memphis, did good.
He went to Memphis, and his freshman year won the job as starter, and broke every record Memphis ever had.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Did he transfer?
Yes,
He transferred where'd he
to
go?
Arkansas first.
Oh.
He got his leg broke.
Yeah.
Like last game of the season.
Yeah.
And then the coaching staff did not recruit any linemen.
Yeah.
And he went to him. He said, "Coach,
look here."
And coach was like, "Well, what we've got is good enough." And he's like, "No, it's not." So he left and he went to Arkansas. Back then, you had to sit out a year.
Yeah.
And so he sat out a year, which ended up being Brett Bielema's last year. And when they fired Bielema before he could even get off the field, well, then
In the tunnel.
Taylor was like, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
And he left and went to UCA and then set the world on fire.
That's right.
At UCA. And I think he had one of his receivers from El Dorado there as well. And again, broke nearly every record UCA had. Last I knew, Taylor was the quarterbacks coach at Georgia Southern University. And Lucas is, I want to say, the running backs or wide receivers coach at Rice.
Yeah.
And that's the last time
That's a good gig.
Yeah, it's not a bad gig at all.
Yeah,
So,
Rice University.
and, old Southwest Conference team. I guess they're going to be part of the Big 12 now, I guess.
Well, there's eventually only going to be 2 conferences, I guess.
SEC and everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, the SEC will be 30 teams strong.
Yeah.
Ohio State, Michigan,
Yeah.
UCLA, they'll all be
In the
SEC teams
yeah.
before all said and done. But, Boomer, and I know I'm biased towards the SEC, but I'll never forget, Oregon was number 1, preseason number 1, LSU preseason number 2. Guess who played each other week 1 that year? It was like Labor Day. It was a Monday night. And LSU kicks off to Oregon. And first right out of the box, Oregon tries a jet sweep. And that kid comes running down that line. That quarterback hands him the ball, that wide receiver. Man, he's running for everything he's got.
Got planted.
And got decleated 4 yards deep into the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
And he jumps up and runs to the sideline and said, "Coach, I thought you said we was fast." And that, son, is the difference between SEC fast and everybody else.
Yeah.
That,
And I was telling someone the other day about Ohio State's the real deal.
yes.
If
And so is
Oregon-
Michigan.
In Michigan. But if Oregon's rated 1 or 2, it's just because they're not going to compete it year after year.
No.
With the majors, with Ohio States and the SECs and
Michigan's and no. As a matter of fact, there was a year where Oregon was number 1 several weeks into the season and then went and played Stanford, that powerhouse of a football team, and got their clocks cleaned by Stanford.
Yeah.
Stanford's
not going to do anything. They're not going to show you any motion. They're just going to line up and run it.
Kind of like Penn State.
Yeah, they're kind of like that Penn State type offense,
It was funny last week. Marion went to a wishbone at one point.
Did they?
Trying to have an extra guy in the backfield to help block for those D1 backs. Still didn't work.
Oh, man.
Still didn't work.
Man.
It was, El Dorado's defense was all over them.
Real deal.
I said, you can call him coat hanger because we're draped on him. I mean, we just draped all over him. I think the other thing, and I've noticed this now, we're 5 games in on the season, and here's what I've noticed. El Dorado had a bad first half in that very first game against Little Rock Christian.
Mm-hmm.
But since the second half of that game, they've outscored every opponent.
Mm-hmm.
They outscored Little Rock Christian in the second half of that game.
Mm-hmm.
It was just too much to overcome.
Yeah.
And the other thing I've noticed is these teams that they're playing, they lose it. They lose their temperament at some point in a game. Even the other night at Marion, it got a little chippy. And, officials having to break kids up and back them away. And I don't know what that is. It goes back to like that coach that time who sat his team down on the field and wouldn't move them. And the sheriff's department had to come remove the coach from the field.
Yeah.
After he got ejected. Was it that you thought you had that much of a chance? I'm not sure I understand why you thought that was the correct,
the right move.
And I watch these teams, and when they start slinging helmets and shoving and kicking, and
that's because they're not getting to do what they want to do.
Yeah, they're not getting to have their way.
Yeah,
and that's called a temper tantrum.
Yeah,
that's what children do.
Yeah,
you want to say I'm a man, I deserve respect. Show me you're a man.
Yeah,
go out there and play. Go out there and play.
Like you've been here before.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, the problem is most of them haven't.
That's it. That's
you know, this success is new.
And then what they see in the NFL and college, and you know, is there's no humility anymore in football.
No. Now
you used to Ray Nitschke would clock you and then pick you up.
Yeah,
and he would just go back to the huddle.
Yeah. Now they have to do a celebration.
Yeah,
dance.
they got to beat their chest and all run to the end zone and do a twerk or something,
or give some symbol for their fraternity.
Yeah.
Against Catholic, El Dorado was like 4th and 11. Little tight end drag route. They hit him for the completion. He runs another 10 or 15 yards past the first down marker, finally gets tackled, stands up and gives it one of those. And they flagged him. They flagged him for unsportsmanlike conduct. And to me, that's a ticky-tack foul.
That was kind of ticky-tack. Was it
just,
our kid or theirs?
Yeah, it was ours.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, really, guys? All he did was get up and give and he didn't like get in anyone's face.
Excessive celebration, they called it?
Yeah, I think they just called it unsportsmanlike. But, you know, you get 2 of those in a game, you get disqualified. You get ejected.
And you can't play the first half of the next game.
Well, depending on which half you're in there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's, you know, I thought that was excessive. What I thought that was. I can sit here and talk about that all night.
Yeah, no kidding.
And just don't forget that the El Dorado Wildcat game will be live at South Arkansas Now at both our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. So you can go to our Facebook page, just search South Arkansas Now on Facebook, or go to YouTube and search South Arkansas Now. We will carry that live, and man, it looks good on YouTube.
It does now.
And we got the camera situation fixed, and you know, I've got a big screen right outside of the producer studio.
Okay.
And I'll turn it on and I'll walk in there sometimes and look at it and just giggle.
Yeah.
Because it looks so good.
So
man.
you produce it from home though, don't you?
Yes. Yeah. I produce it from back here in El Dorado, and because listen, I don't want to go to West Memphis.
I understand.
I don't want to go to Marion.
I know we don't want to travel anymore.
Now, coming up in a couple of weeks, El Dorado will travel to West Memphis for a game, and Grant Merrill will be doing the play-by-play on that one. Carter will be out, and then the next week, Carter will be out again, and I'll be doing the play-by-play on that game against Jonesboro, and that one's going to be here at home.
Good. So you don't have to go up to cold Jonesboro.
Man, I don't want to ever do that again. That was, and you know, we ended up having to go back to Jonesboro for a playoff game a few years later.
And Steve said he was in kind of like a deer stand is what he was
in. Now he went and did the Jessieville game with Junction City and Jessieville. That's where he was.
That's where he was. It's so cold. He said he was in a deer stand.
And that's what he said. He was in a deer stand. You know, up until that point, the coldest I'd ever been, of all places, believe it or not, was Falls River Academy in New Roads, Louisiana, which is you know, 6 steps this side of Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
And they had a press box, but there was no room for me. And so on the roof, they had a metal rail up there. And this was back in the days when you did your games via cell phone. And you had them big bag phones.
Yeah.
And you had them big antennas. And I took it and I was like, boom, big old magnet on there.
Yeah.
The problem is that roof is leaned back. And so I'm holding on like this, and that's how I do the game.
So you won't slip off the back end of the roof?
Yeah.
Gosh.
And the team I was covering at that time, I think it was 60-something to nothing at halftime. So
losing?
No, one.
One, okay.
Yeah. It was a bloodletting. So that game didn't last long. It was a good thing. But it was the only time in my life I've ever known it to be 30 degrees in Baton Rouge.
In Baton Rouge.
And it was. That water was coming off that wind was coming off that river, and it was cold.
Woo, yeah.
Man, it was cold. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this week's edition of Off the Back Porch. We really do appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate all of our sponsors. And again, coming up this Friday night, 6:30 for the pregame show. And that's going to be with Carter Bryant and Jack Sanford as the El Dorado Wildcats take on the Sylvan Hills Bears. And then next Tuesday night, don't forget 5th and Goal as Jax will sit down with all the area coaches, talk about this week's game and their upcoming opponent. And he does that live from Mystic Grill at Mystic Creek Golf Club. And I don't know if you've watched any of those, but man, that backdrop
it is nice.
of hole number 18 behind
18
him there.
behind him.
Man, that's a beautiful backdrop.
Yeah,
that is. I'm impressed.
Yeah, to get that shot.
Yeah, it is. So, but that's coming up on every Tuesday night. That's at 6 p.m. that he goes live with that. It's about an hour long, and depending on the number of coaches that show. But it's been really good, really informative. And what I've really liked is so for example, Coach Hill at El Dorado, he's sending different coordinators each week.
Okay.
Are different, like this week we had Caleb Jacobs, former Wildcat quarterback, who is now the defensive safeties coach.
Okay.
And he came this week, and his football IQ way exceeds ours. And just to hear him talk about the game and what they did last week and what they expect to do this week. And I really like that, seeing them. And, of course, Jason Porter now coming in from Strong to do his part of the show, and Don Harrison coming over from Smackover. And we've been getting different coordinators from Junction City as well. And then Coach Hicks coming over from Parker's Chapel. It's been a really good show.
Good,
and
really watched it.
Really have enjoyed seeing those as well. In the meantime, thank you so much again for tuning in. Have a great week. God bless.
With a name you trust, you can count on us. Glen Mechanical, plumbing, heating, and air.
For over 6 decades, Glen Mechanical has been specializing in HVAC, plumbing, and all mechanical jobs. 3 generations family-owned and operated since 1956. Glen Mechanical's business is based on relationships. They support and give back to the communities they work in. Contact them for all of your HVAC, plumbing, and mechanical needs. GlenMechanical.com.